My beloved child, you are not here by accident. You did not arrive at this moment because of chance curiosity or some passing impulse. Before you opened this message, I already knew the weight you were carrying, the questions you had not spoken, and the decision that has been pressing against your heart. I saw the nights when you tried to appear calm while your thoughts kept moving. I saw the moment you asked me for a sign, even if your lips never formed the words. And now I am asking you to become still, because this moment is more important than it first appears. My beloved child, something has been shifting around you. You have felt it in the quiet. You have noticed it in the way certain conversations no longer settle your spirit. You have sensed it when an opportunity appeared at exactly the moment you were tired of waiting. Part of you wanted to believe that every open door must be my answer. Part of you wanted to move quickly because you were afraid the chance would disappear. But I am not speaking to make you fearful. I am speaking because I love you too much to let urgency make a decision that wisdom has not examined. Listen to me closely. You are standing near a turning point, but the turning point is not only about what is coming toward you, it is also about who you are becoming. In an earlier season, you may have moved because you felt excited. You may have said yes because someone understood your loneliness, praised your gifts, or promised a faster path. You may have confused movement with progress and attention with confirmation. But this season requires a steadier heart. It requires patience that is stronger than pressure and discernment that is deeper than desire. My beloved child, I know how long you have waited. I know how often you have watched others move forward while you wondered whether your own time had been forgotten. I know the ache of seeing doors open for people who seemed less prepared while you remained in a place that felt hidden. But your hidden season was not empty. I was teaching you how to listen without noise, how to remain faithful without applause, and how to recognize that an answer can look attractive while still leading you away from peace. There is a reason this message has reached you now. Something may soon ask for your agreement, your trust, your attention, or your commitment. It may arrive wearing the shape of something you prayed for. It may sound reasonable. It may even be celebrated by people around you. Yet I am asking you not to judge it by appearance alone. A beautiful entrance does not always lead to a safe room. A warm voice does not always carry an honest intention. A quick promise does not always produce a lasting harvest. Remember the wisdom found in Proverbs, where you are told not to lean only on your own understanding, but to acknowledge me in your ways. That does not mean you stop thinking. It means you refuse to let desire become your only counselor. It means you bring your excitement, your fear, your plans, and your unanswered questions into my presence. You examine what is being offered. You notice whether truth and character support the promise. You allow time to reveal what emotion may hide. My beloved child, I am not asking you to reject every new thing. I am asking you to stop treating every new thing as if it came from me. There is a difference between a door that opens and a path that is truly aligned. There is a difference between being wanted and being valued. There is a difference between a person who speaks to your wound and a person who respects your healing. There is a difference between an opportunity that feeds your ego and one that strengthens your purpose. This is why the pause matters. A pause is not weakness. A pause is not failure. A pause is not proof that you lack faith. Sometimes the most faithful step is the step you do not take until your heart is clear. Sometimes obedience looks like waiting one more day, asking one more question, reading the agreement again, or seeking counsel from someone whose life shows wisdom. I do not need panic to guide you. I do not need confusion to force you. What I build can withstand prayer, truth, patience, and honest examination. You have been asking me to protect you, and sometimes protection does not feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels like hesitation. Sometimes it looks like a delayed reply, a changed plan, an unexpected question, or a detail that will not leave your attention. Do not worship every feeling, but do not silence every concern either. Bring it to me. Test it. Look for consistency. Look for humility. Look for truth. Look for whether the path requires you to abandon your values in order to keep the opportunity. My beloved child, this appointed moment is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to awaken you. I am reminding you that your future is too valuable to place in the hands of impulse. Your peace is too precious to trade for temporary excitement. Your calling is too important to be shaped by the fear of missing out. What belongs in your life will not need deception to enter. What is healthy will not demand that you ignore wisdom. What is from me will never require you to become less honest, less grounded, or less whole. So breathe. Let the noise settle. You do not have to decide from pressure. You do not have to prove anything to anyone tonight. You do not have to chase what keeps demanding that you hurry. I am with you in the pause. I am present in the questions. I am not offended by careful discernment. I am teaching you to walk with open eyes and a steady spirit. My beloved child, recognize this moment for what it is. It is not merely a warning about something outside you. It is an invitation to become wiser within. The next step will not be chosen by fear. It will not be chosen by loneliness. It will not be chosen by flattery. You will listen, pray, examine, and wait until truth becomes stronger than pressure. Patience will protect what haste could quietly place at risk. Stay close to me. There is more I need to show you about the turning point ahead. My beloved child, there is more I need to show you about the turning point ahead, because what is approaching may look harmless. It may come through a conversation, an invitation, a sudden offer, or a person who seems to understand what you have been asking me for. That is why I am telling you to stand still before you move. Do not let excitement decide what your future will carry. Let your spirit become calm enough to see what emotion may rush past. You have entered a season where one decision can shape more than one day. A single yes can redirect your time, energy, relationships, and peace. A single reaction can pull you toward a path that looks promising but leaves you far from the purpose I have been forming in you. This does not mean you should fear every choice. It means you must respect the weight of the moment. Wisdom does not panic when a door opens. Wisdom looks, listens, asks, and waits. My beloved child, I know the pressure you feel when something appears suddenly. You think that if you do not act now, you may lose it forever. You may hear people say, this is your only chance, this is the moment you have waited for, or this will never come again. But I am not the author of panic. I do not need fear to force you into my will. What I place before you can survive prayer questions, honest counsel, and one more night of waiting. Think about the people in Scripture who were changed by a pause. Moses stood before a burning bush and listened before he moved. David refused to seize a throne by harming Saul, though the opportunity placed the promise within reach. Jesus often withdrew to pray before major moments of ministry. These examples do not teach passivity. They teach that sacred movement begins with inner stillness. The strongest step is often born after the noise settles and the heart returns to truth. You may be facing an offer that seems perfectly timed. Perhaps someone promised support when you felt forgotten. Perhaps a relationship appeared after a long season of loneliness. Perhaps a business decision seems capable of ending months of uncertainty. Perhaps a new direction promises the recognition you quietly desired. None of these things are automatically wrong, but the fact that something touches a real need does not prove that it is. My answer. Hunger can make poor bread look satisfying. Weariness can make any shelter look safe. My beloved child, notice what happens inside you when you imagine saying yes. Do you feel steady enough to think clearly, or pushed to ignore questions? Are you being invited to grow or pressured to abandon your values? Does the person welcome honesty or become impatient when you ask for time? Does the opportunity become clearer under examination or depend on confusion, secrecy, and urgency? These questions are not signs of unbelief. They are tools of discernment. There have been moments when you moved too quickly because you wanted relief. You wanted the waiting to end. You wanted to feel chosen, needed, or seen. You told yourself that action was better than uncertainty. Yet some hurried decisions demanded more from you than they gave. They consumed attention. They created obligations. They pulled you into explanations you should never have needed. I did not allow those experiences to destroy you. I used them to teach you the cost of moving before clarity. Now you are not standing where you stood before. You have learned what charm without character can do. You have learned what promises without consistency produce. You have learned that a person can speak kindly and still avoid responsibility. You have learned that a door can open while the room behind it remains unhealthy. These lessons were painful but not wasted. They prepared you to recognize that the next decision must be made by the wiser person you have become, not the wounded person you once were. My beloved child, stand still does not mean do nothing forever. It means do not move until your mind, values, and prayer have room to meet. Write down what has been promised. look at what has been demonstrated. Ask what this choice will require after the excitement fades. Consider how it may affect your peace, responsibilities, family, and ability to remain honest. Speak with someone mature enough to tell you the truth instead of merely confirming what you want. James teaches that those who lack wisdom should ask me, trusting that I give generously. So ask me for wisdom, not simply permission. Ask me to reveal what your desire may be exaggerating. Ask me to expose any motive that depends on loneliness, pride, fear, or impatience. Ask me to help you recognize both unnecessary anxiety and genuine warning. I will not shame you for needing clarity. I will not punish you for slowing down. A careful heart is not a faithless heart. I may guide you through scripture, wise counsel, repeated patterns, practical facts, and the quiet conviction that remains after emotion has finally settled within you. You may need to accept that the turning point is not the opportunity itself. The turning point may be the moment you choose a new way of responding. In the past, pressure may have controlled you. Now patience can lead you. In the past, flattery may have opened your trust. Now character must earn it. In the past, loneliness may have lowered your standards. Now love for the life I gave you must strengthen them. Real change begins when your pattern changes. My beloved child, some people will not understand your pause. They may call you hesitant, difficult, overly careful, or afraid. Let them speak. You are not required to surrender your peace to satisfy another person's timeline. Anyone who respects you will respect your need for clarity. Any opportunity built on truth will not collapse because you asked reasonable questions. Pressure often reveals what presentation tries to hide. When someone becomes angry because you will not be rushed, pay attention. Their reaction may tell you more than their promise. This is where your obedience becomes practical. Pray but also examine. Trust me but also read carefully. Listen to your heart but also look at evidence. Seek peace but do not confuse comfort with truth. A wise decision often brings both spiritual steadiness and practical integrity. It does not ask you to lie, hide, betray your conscience, or ignore clear consequences. I am not calling you into a life where you fear every open door. I am teaching you to walk through the right one with open eyes. So remain still for a little longer. The turning point is close, but you do not need to meet it with panic. Let patience clear the room. Let truth speak without interruption. Let motives reveal themselves over time. What is genuine will become stronger under light. What is false will begin to resist examination. And soon, my beloved child, I will help you recognize the difference between a door that merely opens and a door that is truly aligned with the path I have prepared. My beloved child, now I want to help you recognize the difference between a door that merely opens and a door that is truly aligned with the path I have prepared. Let that truth settle gently. Not every sudden opportunity carries my peace. Not every person who arrives at the right moment has been sent to walk with you. Some things appear convincing because they resemble what you have prayed for. They borrow the language of promise. They imitate the shape of answered prayer. Yet when you look more closely, they do not carry the fruit, the truth, or the stability that comes from me. A counterfeit open door rarely looks dangerous at first. It may offer quick relief from a pressure you have carried for months. It may promise connection after loneliness, recognition after being overlooked, or progress after a long season of waiting. If it looked harmful from the beginning, you would step away without struggle. Instead, it appears dressed in the colors of your deepest desire. It knows which part of your heart has grown tired. It speaks directly to the place where you have been asking for movement. My beloved child, this is why appearance cannot be your only measure. A door can be beautiful and still lead you away from peace. A person can speak with confidence and still lack character. An offer can sound generous and still hide conditions that will slowly drain you. A plan can promise freedom and still create a new kind of bondage. Ask what the opportunity produces in you. Ask what it requires from you. Ask whether it strengthens honesty, patience, responsibility, and faith, or whether it feeds haste, pride, secrecy, and fear. When Samuel went to anoint a king, he was impressed by what he saw on the outside. But I reminded him that people look at appearance while I look at the heart. You may be impressed by talent, beauty, status, confidence, influence, or the speed at which someone seems able to change your situation. But I am asking you to look deeper. Watch how they handle truth. Watch how they respond to boundaries. Watch what happens when they do not get immediate agreement. Character reveals what presentation tries to conceal. There are counterfeit doors in relationships. Someone may arrive with intense attention, quick promises, and words that sound like certainty. They may push for trust before trust has had time to grow. They may call urgency, passion, and pressure commitment. My beloved child, love does not need to rush you past wisdom. Healthy connection can tolerate time. It can survive questions. It can respect your healing. What is genuine does not demand that you abandon discernment in order to prove your feelings. There are counterfeit doors in work and money. An offer may promise fast advancement, easy income, or access to people you have wanted to reach. Yet hidden beneath the excitement may be unclear terms, unhealthy expectations, dishonest practices, or responsibilities that will consume your peace. Read what you are agreeing to. Consider the long cost, not only the short reward. Seek counsel from people who understand the area better than you do. Faith does not require carelessness. Wisdom is not the enemy of trust. There are also counterfeit doors in purpose. You may be invited into something that gives you visibility but weakens your integrity. You may receive praise for a version of yourself that is not true. You may be offered a platform that requires you to perform, exaggerate, or become dependent on approval. Sometimes obscurity protects what applause would distort. Sometimes I keep you hidden until your roots can carry the weight of being seen. Do not trade formation for recognition. My beloved child, notice the pattern. The counterfeit usually offers something quickly that the authentic path develops slowly. It offers closeness without trust, success without preparation, influence without character, and reward without responsibility. It promises to remove discomfort without teaching you anything through it. It appeals to the part of you that wants the result but does not want the process. Yet what I build in your life is not fragile. I care about what you receive, but I also care about who you become while receiving it. Remember when Jesus was tempted in the wilderness. He was offered bread without waiting, protection without trust, and authority without obedience. The offer was not random. It targeted real needs and real purpose. But the path was false because it required him to step outside the Father's timing and truth. Learn from that moment. A desire can be legitimate while the offered method is wrong. A destination can be good while the shortcut is destructive. Do not judge an offer only by where it claims to take you. Examine how it asks you to get there. This is where many people become confused. They assume that because they prayed for something, anything similar must be the answer. They prayed for companionship, so they accept the first person who gives them attention. They prayed for provision, so they ignore dishonesty and an opportunity. They prayed for a new beginning, so they abandon responsibilities before a stable path is formed. My beloved child, prayer does not remove the need for discernment. Prayer deepens it. It teaches you to recognize not only what you want, but what agrees with truth. You do not need to become suspicious of everyone. You do not need to imagine hidden danger in every conversation. That is not the life I am calling you to live. I am teaching you to remain open without becoming naive, hopeful, without becoming impulsive and loving, without surrendering your boundaries. Discernment is not fear. It is the quiet ability to notice what is consistent, what is honest, and what remains healthy over time. It allows you to welcome good things without being controlled by appearances. So, when a door opens, do not ask only whether you can enter. Ask what kind of person you will become on the other side. Ask whether you can walk through it without betraying your convictions. Ask whether the people connected to it honor truth, responsibility, and mutual respect. Ask whether the path remains clear when the first excitement fades. Bring the whole matter before me, not just the part you want me to approve. I can guide you only where you are willing to be honest. My beloved child, the counterfeit cannot remain convincing forever. Time reveals pressure. Questions reveal motives. Boundaries reveal character. Truth reveals what excitement hides. You are not being asked to make a perfect decision with perfect knowledge. You are being asked to move carefully, humbly, and awake. The door in front of you may not be evil, but it may still be wrong for your season. It may not be harmful to everyone, but it may pull you away from what I am building in you. The next thing I will show you is why certain offers seem designed so precisely around your desires, your wounds, and your patterns. Once you understand how a trap studies the places where you feel most vulnerable, you will become far less likely to mistake imitation for alignment. My beloved child, now you are ready to understand why certain offers seem designed around your desires, wounds, and patterns. A trap becomes convincing when it speaks the language of something you deeply want. It does not always approach through obvious darkness. Sometimes it arrives through relief, attention, comfort, or sudden possibility. That is why you must recognize not only what is being offered, but which part of you is being invited to respond. I know where you have felt overlooked. I know the prayers you repeated when no answer seemed to come. I know the ache of wanting companionship, stability, progress, recognition, and rest. These desires do not make you weak. They make you human. But a good desire can become a vulnerable doorway when impatience takes control. Hunger does not make bread evil, but it can make you reach for what has not been tested. My beloved child, a trap often studies your usual response. If you move quickly when you feel chosen, flattery may become the invitation. If you fear abandonment, someone may use distance to make you chase. If you are tired of financial pressure, fast income may tempt you to ignore unclear details. If you long to be seen, praise may persuade you to accept a role that asks you to become someone you are not. This is why patterns matter. The same struggle may return wearing a different face. A new person can awaken an old need. A new opportunity can repeat an old compromise. A new environment can recreate old pressure. You may think you are entering something different because circumstances changed, yet the pattern remains familiar. You feel rushed. You feel responsible for proving yourself. You overlook inconsistencies. You explain away what would concern you in someone you loved. Remember how Esau came in from the field exhausted and hungry. In that moment, immediate relief felt more important than lasting value. He traded something precious because present appetite became louder than his future. My beloved child, the lesson is not that every urgent need is sinful. The lesson is that exhaustion can distort proportion. When depleted, what is temporary may feel permanent, and what is costly may look harmless. That is why I ask you to notice your condition before judging the offer. Are you rested enough to think? Are you lonely enough to accept attention you would normally question? Are you discouraged enough to call any movement progress? Are you angry enough to decide just to prove someone wrong? Are you afraid enough to remain because uncertainty feels worse than unhappiness? Your emotional state does not decide for you, but it can influence what you overlook. My beloved child, the trap often targets your timing as much as your desire. Something may not be wrong yet, it may be wrong for you now. A relationship entered before healing takes root can become a place where two wounds demand rescue from each other. A business opportunity accepted before facts are clear can become an obligation that consumes your strength. A public platform received before you are steady can turn approval into a master. Sometimes wisdom is opposed simply by hurry. Hurry tells you there is no time to ask questions. Hurry says the chance will disappear if you breathe. Hurry turns caution into shame and patience into weakness. But I am not threatened by your questions. Truth does not fear examination. What is healthy does not collapse when you request clarity. What is honest does not need secrecy. Slow down enough for the offer to show what it is. Watch how people respond when you establish a boundary. A sincere person may be disappointed, but they can respect your freedom. A manipulative person treats your boundary as an insult. Watch what happens when you ask for details. A trustworthy opportunity becomes clearer. A deceptive one becomes more confusing. Watch whether promises are supported by consistent action. Words create an atmosphere, but repeated behavior reveals direction. You do not need to accuse anyone. You need to observe honestly. My beloved child, some traps appeal to strengths, not weaknesses. Your kindness can be targeted by people who refuse responsibility. Your loyalty can keep you where truth is never welcomed. Your ability to endure can become an excuse for remaining under unhealthy pressure. Your generosity can be praised while your needs are ignored. A gift becomes vulnerable when separated from wisdom. I gave you compassion, but I did not ask you to abandon boundaries. This is why Proverbs tells you to guard your heart, because the direction of life flows from it. Guarding your heart does not mean closing it. It means choosing carefully what receives access, influence, and authority within you. You can forgive without reopening every door. You can love someone without agreeing to their demands. You can wish a person well without making them responsible for your future. You can be generous without financing confusion. You may also feel a need to prove you have changed. Sometimes you return to an old environment believing you are strong enough to handle what once harmed you. Strength is real, but wisdom does not need to demonstrate itself by standing near danger. Joseph did not remain near the situation that threatened his integrity to prove discipline. He left. There are moments when walking away is not fear, it is clarity in motion. My beloved child, do not become obsessed with finding traps everywhere. That would replace discernment with suspicion. Instead, become curious about your patterns. Ask what makes you abandon your standards. Ask which words make you feel instantly obligated. Ask which fears make you accept less than honesty. Ask what kind of praise makes you stop asking practical questions. When you understand your patterns, you become harder to pressure and easier to guide. You are not being shown these things, so you will condemn your past. The decisions you regret have taught you where you need stronger boundaries. The relationships that exhausted you have shown what mutual respect should not look like. The opportunities that disappointed you have taught you to examine promises carefully. I can use every lesson without asking you to live in shame. Wisdom grows when pain is processed honestly rather than repeated automatically. So stay close to me while you look at what is approaching. Let prayer reveal your motives. Let time reveal character. Let facts reveal whether a promise is trustworthy. Let wise counsel challenge the story your emotions want to believe. The trap loses power when you no longer hide from your vulnerability. You can admit that you want love, relief, progress, or recognition without allowing those desires to lead you blindly. My beloved child, now, you can see that the danger is not only in the offer, it is in the meeting point between the offer and an unguarded need. This understanding is meant to free you, not frighten you. You can pause. You can ask. You can wait. You can choose from peace instead of pressure. You are learning to meet desire with patient truth. Next, I will teach you why stillness is not delay, but where emotional impulse quiets and wisdom begins to speak clearly. My beloved child, now I will teach you why stillness is not delay, but the place where impulse quiets and wisdom begins to speak. You have believed that quick movement proves courage. Sometimes it does, but sometimes courage means remaining still while anxious thoughts demand an answer. Stillness gives truth room to rise. It allows what is hidden beneath excitement, fear, loneliness, and pressure to become visible. Strong emotions often speak as though they are urgent. Excitement says you must act before the feeling disappears. Fear says you must decide before the opportunity closes. Loneliness says any connection is better than another quiet night. Anger says you must respond now or look weak. But my beloved child, an emotion can be real without being ready to lead. Do not deny what you feel. Stop giving every feeling authority over your next step. Stillness separates a true need from a desperate reaction. It is where you ask whether you want the opportunity or only the relief you imagine it will bring. It is where you notice whether you are drawn by peace or pulled by fear. You stop rehearsing the answer you hope to receive and ask what facts reveal. In stillness, desire stops shouting long enough for wisdom to be heard. I know this is not always comfortable. Silence brings hidden thoughts to the surface. It may reveal how tired you are, how badly you want to be chosen, or how deeply you fear delay. Yet I am not ashamed of those places in you. I already know them. Bring them into the light so they do not make decisions from the shadows. What you name honestly can be healed. What you hide can control you. Remember Elijah after the noise of wind, earthquake, and fire. My voice came in a gentle whisper. This does not mean I never speak with power. It shows that volume is not proof of truth. The loudest pressure around you may not be my direction. Quiet conviction after the noise settles may deserve more attention than demands that you hurry. Notice what remains when the storm has passed. My beloved child, create space before you answer. Put the message down. Leave the room if you can. Take a walk. Sleep before committing. Write the questions you are afraid to ask. Read the details again when your heart and mind have become calmer. Pray without telling me which outcome I must approve. Ask me to correct your thinking, not merely comfort your feelings. Ask where fear is exaggerating danger and where desire is minimizing it. Perhaps people taught you that hesitation means weakness or that faith requires immediate certainty. Careful reflection is not endless avoidance. Stillness has a purpose. It gathers information. It tests motives. It lets patterns emerge. It gives counsel time to speak. It creates distance between the first emotional wave and a decision that could shape months or years. You are refusing to let one intense moment control your life. Think of Nehemiah when he heard about Jerusalem. He did not rush because the need was real. He sat down, he wept, he fasted, he prayed. Then he prepared, asked questions, made requests, inspected the walls, and organized the work. His pause did not weaken the mission. It gave the mission structure. Likewise, stillness can turn emotion into responsible action. A prayerful pause can protect what a hurried response might damage. My beloved child, not every impulse is wrong. Sometimes the first nudge points toward good, but even a good direction benefits from wisdom. If the path is healthy, examination will not destroy it. If the relationship is sincere, time will not ruin it. If the offer is honest, questions will not threaten it. What is true can stand in the light. What depends on pressure becomes uncomfortable when you refuse to rush. Watch what happens during the pause. Do promises remain consistent? Do explanations become clearer or more tangled? Does the person respect your space or increase pressure? Does your desire become calmer or depend on fantasy? Do trusted people notice concerns you dismissed? Does the opportunity support your responsibilities, or does it require you to neglect them? Stillness is not empty. It is an active place of observation. Clarity grows inside, quiet. You may discover that urgency was manufactured. A deadline may become flexible when you refuse to be pushed. A person may reveal impatience when your boundary interrupts them. A promise may lose its shine when you ask for evidence. Or you may discover the opposite. The opportunity may remain steady. The person may honor your pace. The details may withstand review. Stillness does not only expose what is false, it confirms what is sound. This is why I do not want you to live from panic. Panic narrows your vision until you see only one outcome. It says, this person is your only chance, this job, your only provision, or this door, your only path. But I am not limited to one human offer. If something is wrong, saying no does not place you beyond my care. If something is right, patience will not remove my ability to guide you. My beloved child, let your body rest as well. Exhaustion can make every problem feel final and every opportunity necessary. Eat, sleep, breathe, step away from constant messages. Needing rest does not make you less spiritual. Sometimes clarity returns after your nervous system is no longer fighting to survive the moment. I formed you as a whole person. Wisdom may come through prayer, scripture, counsel, facts, rest, and the ability to think again. Stillness teaches you not to answer every provocation. Someone may accuse you, misunderstand you, or challenge your boundary. Your old self may want to defend itself immediately. But not every accusation deserves a response, and not every disagreement needs a decision tonight. Jesus did not answer every voice demanding explanation. There were moments when silence protected purpose. You can be honest without being reactive. You can be firm without becoming cruel. Practice pausing while stakes are small. Wait before sending the message written in anger. Reconsider the purchase made from insecurity. Do not promise what you have not measured. Do not accept responsibility because guilt knocked first. Each pause strengthens the part of you that remains steady when a larger turning point arrives. Discernment grows through repeated choices, not one dramatic moment. My beloved child, you are not standing still because you are lost. You are standing still because you are learning to move with clarity. Let emotion speak, but do not let it rule. Let desire be honest, but do not let it become a command. Let questions remain open until truth has time to answer. I am with you in the waiting, and I am not wasting the pause. As you become quiet, you may notice something important. Certain choices leave peace intact while others slowly disturb it. That change within you is not something to fear or worship blindly. It is something to examine carefully. In the next step, I will help you understand how to read the loss of peace without confusing wisdom with anxiety or spiritual caution with old wounds. My beloved child, now let us look carefully at what happens when peace begins to leave. You have learned to become still, and stillness makes certain changes easier to notice. A decision that once felt exciting may begin to feel heavy. Do not panic when this happens. Do not immediately call every discomfort a warning from me, but do not dismiss it either. Pause, observe, pray, and ask with patient attention what the change is trying to reveal. Peace is not the same as comfort. Sometimes I lead you into a difficult conversation, an unfamiliar responsibility, or a courageous step that stretches you. Growth can feel uncomfortable. A healthy boundary can bring sadness before it brings freedom. So I am not asking you to avoid everything that feels difficult. I am teaching you to notice the difference between discomfort that strengthens you and pressure that slowly pulls you away from yourself. My beloved child, fear often speaks in circles. It repeats the same disaster without offering new evidence. Wise caution speaks differently. It may point to a specific inconsistency, an unanswered question, a broken promise, or a pattern you have seen before. Fear makes the whole world feel unsafe. Discernment helps you identify what needs closer attention. Learn to ask which voice you are hearing. You may notice that peace fades only when you are around a certain person. After speaking with them, you feel responsible for their emotions, confused about what was said, or guilty for asking reasonable questions. My beloved child, do not accuse without evidence, but do not ignore repeated patterns. A single awkward moment can be human weakness. A consistent pattern deserves honest attention. Peace may also leave around an opportunity. The offer looks impressive, but the details remain vague. The promises grow larger while the answers become less clear. You are encouraged to commit before you understand the cost. That is not healthy guidance. Truth can withstand examination. A trustworthy path does not require you to silence your conscience. When clarity decreases, as commitment increases, slow down and look again. Remember the wisdom given through Paul, who taught that peace should rule in the heart. To let peace rule does not mean you chase a pleasant feeling at every moment. A ruler examines, decides, and brings order. Peace works alongside truth, wisdom, character, and responsibility. It does not tell you to ignore danger because you want to feel calm. It is steadiness that remains connected to what is true. My beloved child, old wounds can also disturb peace. A loyal person may remind you of someone who betrayed you. A good opportunity may resemble a place where you once failed. A healthy conversation may feel threatening because honesty was punished in your past. This is why you must examine your history as well as the present situation. Ask whether the current person has actually shown the behavior you fear. Ask whether your body is remembering yesterday while your mind is standing in today. Do not shame yourself when old pain speaks. Bring it to me with patience. Healing is not pretending you were never hurt. Healing is learning that the past can inform you without controlling you. Speak with someone wise and trustworthy if your reactions feel overwhelming. Rest before deciding. Write down what happened rather than what you fear it might mean. Compare words with actions. Let time help separate memory from evidence. I can guide you through both spiritual wisdom and practical care. Sometimes the loss of peace comes because you are trying to force an answer. You have already decided what you want, and every delay feels like resistance. You pray, but only for confirmation. You ask for advice, but only from people who agree. You interpret every encouraging detail as proof and every concern as an attack. My beloved child, surrender the outcome before asking for direction. You cannot hear clearly while demanding that truth say what desire has already chosen. There are also moments when peace leaves because your values are being compromised. You may be asked to hide information, speak dishonestly, betray a confidence, neglect your responsibilities, or become smaller so someone else can remain comfortable. You may tell yourself that the compromise is temporary, yet each step away from integrity creates greater inner conflict. I will never ask you to receive a blessing by becoming less truthful. If the path requires you to silence conviction, the price is already too high. My beloved child, pay attention to what returns when you step back. Does your mind become clearer after a day without pressure? Does your strength return when you stop trying to manage someone else's reactions? Does prayer become more honest when you release the need to make the opportunity work? Does your body relax when you imagine saying no? These responses are not final proof by themselves, but they are information. Place them beside facts, counsel, scripture, and observed character. You do not need to create a dramatic spiritual meaning for every change in mood. You may be tired, hungry, grieving, overwhelmed, or carrying stress from another part of life. Care for those needs before making a permanent conclusion. Sleep, eat. Take time away from constant messages. Speak openly with someone mature. If the heaviness remains after your mind and body have settled, return to the matter with fresh attention. Wisdom is patient enough to check again. My beloved child, there is another question you must ask. Is the loss of peace inviting you to run away from responsibility, or is it warning you that responsibility has become distortion? Sometimes you feel discomfort because you need to apologize, finish what you started, or face a truth. You avoid it. In that case, peace may return through obedience, not escape. But when you have acted honestly, ask questions, set boundaries, and still face manipulation or confusion, distance may be necessary. This careful reading of peace protects you from two extremes. One extreme ignores every concern and calls it faith. The other treats every uncomfortable feeling as a divine command to leave. I am leading you toward maturity between those extremes. Pray deeply, think clearly, examine patterns, seek wise counsel, respect your body, test what you hear, stay humble enough to change your mind when truth becomes clearer. Discernment grows through this balanced attention. My beloved child, you are learning not to worship peace as a feeling, but to receive it as part of a larger guidance. Peace walks with truth. Peace respects wisdom. Peace does not demand secrecy, panic, or self-betrayal. When those things increase, stop and examine the path. When honesty, patience, responsibility, and clarity increase, continue carefully. You do not need perfect certainty before every step. You need enough light to take the next faithful one. And when a door begins to close after you have prayed, examined, and waited, do not immediately assume you have been rejected. The closing may carry mercy you cannot yet recognize. The delay may be protecting your strength. The interruption may be redirecting you before a hidden cost becomes visible. Next, my beloved child, I will show you how to trust the doors I block without turning disappointment into despair. My beloved child, now, I will show you how to trust the doors I block without turning disappointment into despair. You have learned to notice when peace changes, and you have begun to understand that not every interruption is rejection. Sometimes a closing door is the clearest mercy I can give. Sometimes what feels like loss is protection arriving before explanation. I know how deeply you can grieve what did not happen. You prepared, you prayed, you imagined the future. You told yourself that this opportunity, this relationship, this plan, or this answer would finally bring relief. Then the conversation changed. The invitation disappeared. The person withdrew. The timing failed. The agreement was delayed. And you stood there asking why I allowed hope to rise if the door was going to close. My beloved child, I do not ask you to pretend disappointment does not hurt. Faith is not denial. You are allowed to grieve. You are allowed to admit that the ending confused you. You are allowed to bring me your frustration without hiding behind polished words. But do not make a final judgment while your pain is still speaking. What feels cruel in one moment may look merciful when more truth becomes visible. Remember Balaam on the road. He was moving toward what he wanted, yet the path was blocked again and again. He became angry because he could not see what stood ahead. The donkey saw danger before he did. My beloved child, there are moments when you also become frustrated with the resistance that is saving you. You push harder because you assume every obstacle must be defeated, but not every barrier is an enemy. Some barriers are my protection. You may never learn every detail behind a blocked door. You may not hear the conversations that happened without you. Trust does not always receive complete evidence. Sometimes trust means accepting that my view is wider than yours. I see the full road while you see only the entrance. A relationship may end before deeper control becomes visible. A job may disappear before the organization begins to collapse. A partnership may fail before a hidden debt becomes your burden. A move may be delayed before an unexpected need arises at home. A public opportunity may close before exposure would have placed pressure on wounds that still needed healing. You may call these missed chances. I may be calling them rescues. My beloved child, do not assume that everyone who leaves was evil, or that every closed door hid disaster. Sometimes the door closes because the season is simply not right. Sometimes an opportunity is healthy but not assigned to you. Sometimes I redirect you because another responsibility deserves your attention. Protection is not always about escaping wickedness. It can also be about preserving order, timing, and capacity. This is why you must resist the urge to chase every door that closes. There are times to ask questions, repair misunderstandings, and make another honest attempt. But there are also times when repeated resistance is information. If you must abandon dignity, truth, or peace to force the outcome, step back. What requires manipulation to obtain will often require manipulation to maintain. You were not created to spend your life convincing what is not aligned to remain open. Think of Paul and his companions when they planned to enter one region, but the Spirit did not permit them. They were not lazy. They were not rebellious. They were willing servants with a sincere plan. Yet the path changed, and another direction opened. Later, a new mission unfolded in Macedonia. My beloved child, a blocked plan does not mean your purpose is ended. It may mean your purpose is being redirected toward a place you could not yet imagine. When a door closes, ask better questions. Instead of asking only, "Why did you take this from me?" Ask, "What are you protecting in me?" Ask what this interruption reveals about your expectations. Ask whether you had placed your identity in an outcome. Ask whether you were calling one human decision your only future. Ask what responsibility remains in front of you now. Closed doors can reveal where hope became dependence. My beloved child, disappointment often creates a temptation to return to what you already outgrew. When the new door closes, the old room can suddenly look comforting. You may consider calling the person who repeatedly harmed your peace. You may return to habits you had begun to leave. You may lower your standards because waiting feels embarrassing. Do not use one disappointment as permission to reopen a door that wisdom already closed. Stay with me in the empty hallway. That space between one closed door and another clear direction can feel lonely. You may hear silence and assume nothing is happening, but hallways are places of transition, not permanent homes. In that quiet space, I can untangle your motives, restore your strength, and help you release the version of the future you were trying to control. You are not forgotten between doors. There may also be practical work to do. A blocked opportunity can expose a skill you need to strengthen. A failed plan can reveal poor preparation. A rejected application can show where your communication needs improvement. My beloved child, trusting. My protection does not mean avoiding responsibility. Learn what you can, correct what is yours, seek feedback, build wisely, then release what remains beyond your control. My beloved child, you may look back one day and realize that what you begged me to restore would have demanded years of recovery. You may discover that the person who walked away made room for healthier relationships. You may see that the job you lost forced you to develop gifts you had ignored. You may understand that the delay gave your family time to prepare. But even if the full explanation never comes, you can choose not to let bitterness become your guide. Hold disappointment with open hands. Thank me for what was good without pretending everything was perfect. Release what you cannot carry forward. Bless people without returning to unhealthy access. Keep the lesson without keeping the wound open. The closed door does not have to become the center of your identity. You are more than what rejected you. You are more than the plan that failed. My beloved child, trust is not saying that every ending feels good. Trust is believing that an ending does not place you outside my care. I can lead through yes, through no, through wait, and through another way. I can protect through distance, delay, exposure, and redirection. Your task is not to understand every hidden detail. Your task is to remain honest, teachable, and close to me. As you learn to trust the doors I block, something stronger begins to form within you. Discernment stops being only a warning system and becomes preparation for greater responsibility. You begin to understand that I am not merely keeping you from the wrong path. I am training you to carry the right one with wisdom. Next, my beloved child, I will show you how this season of closed doors is sharpening you for the elevation ahead. My beloved child, now I will show you how this season of closed doors is sharpening you for the elevation ahead. You may have thought discernment was only about avoiding harm, but it is also about becoming able to carry more. Greater opportunity requires greater clarity. Greater influence requires stronger boundaries. Greater responsibility requires a heart that can remain humble when attention increases and steady when pressure rises. Elevation is not only a change in circumstance, it is a change in capacity. Before I place more into your hands, I often strengthen the hands. Before I widen your territory, I deepen your roots. Before I allow more people to hear your voice, I teach you how to recognize which voices deserve access to yours. What looks like delay may be training. What feels like restriction may be preparation for freedom. My beloved child, many people ask for promotion without asking for the wisdom to survive it. They want the platform but not the discipline. They want provision but not stewardship. They want influence but not accountability. They want the open door but not the inner work required to walk through it with integrity. I am not interested in giving you something impressive that your character is not ready to protect. Think of Joseph. Long before he stood before Pharaoh, he learned how to remain faithful in hidden places. He served when no one celebrated him. He kept his integrity when temptation offered a shortcut. He interpreted dreams in a prison before he advised a nation. His elevation did not begin in the palace. It began in the unseen decisions that shaped him. Your hidden decisions are shaping you too. Each time you refuse manipulation, you become stronger. Each time you wait instead of forcing an outcome, you become steadier. Each time you tell the truth, when exaggeration would make you look better, your foundation deepens. Each time you honor a boundary, you prepare for relationships that will not require you to betray yourself. My beloved child, discernment protects more than your peace. It protects your purpose from becoming scattered. When every invitation receives your yes, your energy becomes divided. When every opinion receives authority, your direction becomes confused. When every emergency becomes your responsibility, your calling becomes buried under demands that were never assigned to you. Elevation requires the ability to recognize not only what is wrong, but what is simply not yours. There will be good opportunities you must decline. There will be sincere people you cannot follow. There will be meaningful needs you are not called to meet. This does not make you selfish. It makes you responsible. Jesus healed many, but he did not remain in every town where people wanted him to stay. He moved according to purpose, not pressure. Love can be generous without becoming directionless. You are learning that discernment is not suspicion. Suspicion looks for danger everywhere. Discernment looks for truth. Suspicion hardens the heart. Discernment keeps the heart open while protecting the gates. Suspicion assumes hidden motives without evidence. Discernment observes patterns, asks questions, and waits for character to become clear. I am not preparing you to fear people. I am preparing you to walk wisely among them. My beloved child, as your influence grows, flattery may become more frequent. People may praise what they hope to receive from you. They may agree with everything you say because they want access, opportunity, or association. Do not become cynical, but do not let admiration replace examination. Watch who tells you the truth. Watch who respects your no. Watch who remains consistent when there is nothing to gain. Elevation can expose old wounds if they are not healed. Recognition may awaken the part of you that once felt invisible. Money may awaken the fear of returning to lack. Leadership may awaken the need to control. A new relationship may awaken the fear of abandonment. This is why I am strengthening you before the change. I want blessings to serve your purpose, not become masters. Ask yourself what success means before the world defines it for you. If success requires constant performance, loss of integrity, neglect of family, or distance from me, then the price is too high. True elevation does not make you less honest, less compassionate, or less grounded. It gives you greater opportunity to practice those qualities. What I build should deepen your character, not merely enlarge your image. My beloved child, there will be moments when discernment asks you to move, not only wait. Preparation is not an excuse for endless hesitation. Once truth becomes clear, courage must follow. Noah did not only hear instructions, he built. Esther did not only recognize danger, she acted with wisdom and courage. Nehemiah did not only pray, he planned and repaired. Discernment that never becomes obedience remains incomplete. You may feel afraid that one mistake will destroy everything. Release that fear. I am teaching you carefulness, not perfectionism. You will not always read every situation correctly. You may need to adjust, apologize, or change direction. Humility is part of discernment. A wise person can admit when new information changes the decision. You are not proving that you never make mistakes. You are learning to respond honestly when truth becomes clearer. Do not measure your growth only by what you have received. Measure it by what no longer controls you. The praise that once made you compromise may no longer impress you. The silence that once made you panic may no longer frighten you. The delay that once made you settle may now strengthen your patience. The person who once could manipulate your guilt may discover that your boundaries have become calm and firm. My beloved child, this is elevation before elevation. Your circumstances may still look ordinary, but your reactions are changing. Your standards are becoming clearer. Your peace is becoming more protected. Your yes is becoming more intentional. Your no is becoming less angry and more grounded. You are becoming trustworthy with what you have asked me to place in your life. I am also teaching you to carry blessing without isolation. Greater responsibility does not mean you must become unreachable. Seek wise people who are not impressed by your image. Keep relationships where truth can be spoken. Remain teachable. Share responsibility when appropriate. Rest before exhaustion makes decisions for you. The higher the responsibility, the more important healthy community becomes. My beloved child, do not despise this season because it feels slower than you expected. The roots of a strong tree grow in darkness before the branches carry fruit in public. I am strengthening what people may never see so that what they eventually see will not collapse under pressure. Closed doors, delayed answers, tested relationships, and careful decisions are all shaping your capacity. Soon you will begin to notice another important test. Some things that approach you will feel familiar. They may resemble old comfort, old chemistry, or old patterns that once felt like home. Familiarity can feel safe, even when it leads backward. In the next step, I will help you separate what feels familiar from what is truly aligned, so your past does not disguise itself as your future. My beloved child, now I will help you separate what feels familiar from what is truly aligned, so your past does not disguise itself as your future. Familiarity can be comforting because your mind recognizes the pattern, but not everything that feels like home is healthy. Sometimes it only resembles what you learned to survive. You may meet someone who seems to understand you immediately. They speak about your dreams with confidence. They notice your wounds and say the words you have longed to hear. They make the connection feel effortless, as though no explanation is needed. Yet my beloved child, being understood quickly is not the same as being known faithfully. Intensity is not proof of alignment. Familiar chemistry is not the same as trustworthy character. You may also encounter an opportunity that resembles something you wanted before. Perhaps it offers recognition, freedom, or a chance to prove yourself. Because the desire is old, the opportunity may feel destined. But ask whether it is leading you forward or simply inviting you to repeat an unfinished pattern with better packaging. The children of Israel once looked back toward Egypt when the wilderness became difficult. Egypt had been a place of bondage, yet hardship made its familiar food seem comforting. They began to remember what they had eaten and forget what their captivity had cost. My beloved child, this is what discomfort can do. It can make an old prison look safer than an unfamiliar path toward freedom. Your mind often reaches for what it knows, especially when you are tired, lonely, or uncertain. A known pain can feel easier to manage than an unknown future. But I am teaching you to stop measuring safety by familiarity. True safety includes honesty, respect, responsibility, and room for growth. If those qualities are missing, familiarity is not alignment. Look carefully at the patterns that once felt normal. Did you have to over-explain yourself to be heard? Did you become responsible for keeping everyone calm? Did affection appear only after you gave more than you could sustain? Did you confuse unpredictability with passion? Did you stay because brief moments of warmth made you forget long seasons of confusion? What felt normal may have been something you learned to tolerate. My beloved child, alignment feels different. It does not mean every moment is easy or every person is perfect. It means truth can be spoken without punishment. Boundaries can be expressed without emotional games. Mistakes can be acknowledged without blame being shifted. Responsibilities are shared. Words and actions move in the same direction. You do not have to abandon your values to keep the connection alive. In work, true alignment allows you to contribute without becoming dishonest. It respects your time and makes expectations clear. It does not flatter you publicly while exploiting you privately. You are not always the rescuer, listener, giver. or one who apologizes first. In love, alignment grows through patience, consistency, respect, and truth, not only through strong emotion. My beloved child, pay attention when a new situation asks you to play an old role. Perhaps you are again expected to rescue someone who refuses responsibility. Perhaps you are being asked to prove your loyalty by tolerating disrespect. Perhaps a leader praises your dedication while quietly depending on your inability to say no. The people may be different, but the role is familiar. You do not break a cycle only by leaving one person or place. You break it by refusing the role that kept the cycle alive. If you leave one controlling relationship but still believe love must be earned through self-abandonment, the same pattern can find another doorway. If you leave one exhausting job but continue saying yes to every unreasonable demand, the environment changes while the pattern remains. Ask what familiarity awakens in you. Does it make you feel responsible for someone else's future? Does it awaken the fear that you will be abandoned if you speak honestly? Does it make chaos feel exciting and steadiness feel boring? Does it persuade you that suffering is proof of loyalty? Bring those beliefs to me. Let truth replace what pain taught you. Remember Ruth. After loss, she did not return to what was easiest merely because it was known. She moved forward with loyalty, humility, and courage. It unfolded through faithful, work-wise character, clear customs, and honorable action. My beloved child, what is aligned will not need confusion to create a story. It can grow through ordinary faithfulness. You may discover that healthy people feel unfamiliar at first. Respect may seem quiet compared with intensity. Consistency may feel less exciting than unpredictability. A person who honors your boundary may seem distant because you are accustomed to others pushing past it. A workplace with clear expectations may feel strange because chaos once made you feel needed. Do not reject peace simply because it lacks drama. Not every meaningful connection begins with overwhelming emotion. Not every right opportunity arrives with instant certainty. Sometimes alignment becomes visible through small repeated evidence. A promise is kept. A question receives an honest answer. A boundary is remembered. An apology includes changed behavior. A responsibility is carried without needing to be chased. These quiet signs matter. My beloved child, distinguish recognition from repetition. Recognition says, I understand this because I have learned wisdom. Repetition says, I am drawn to this because it activates an old wound. Recognition makes you clearer. Repetition makes you compulsive. Recognition allows questions. Repetition fears losing the feeling. Recognition observes reality. Repetition builds a future from fantasy. Ask trusted people what they see, especially those who know your history and respect your freedom. They may notice when your voice changes, when you begin making excuses, or when your boundaries weaken. Do not give others control over your decisions, but do not isolate yourself from wise perspective. Proverbs teaches that plans gain strength through counsel. Humility can reveal what attraction tries to hide. My beloved child, there are also familiar opportunities that are not harmful but belong to an earlier version of you. A role may once have fit your gifts but now keeps you from growing. A community may have supported one season but cannot carry the next. You can honor what was good without remaining where your development has ended. Gratitude does not require permanent attachment. Let patience teach your heart a healthier language. Let the past become a teacher, not a map you must follow forever. Keep the wisdom. Release the reflex. Remember the cost without living in fear. You are allowed to choose what is steady instead of what is dramatic, what is mutual instead of what is familiar, and what is truthful instead of what simply feels intense. My beloved child, as you learn this difference, another truth will become important. The familiar becomes most persuasive when you are emotionally depleted. Loneliness, fatigue, discouragement, and prolonged waiting can make old patterns look attractive again. Next, I will show you how to guard those vulnerable seasons so temporary weakness does not reopen doors that wisdom has already helped you close. My beloved child, now I will show you how to guard seasons when weakness makes old doors attractive again. You have learned that familiarity can imitate alignment, but that imitation becomes strongest when your heart is tired. Loneliness, disappointment, exhaustion, and prolonged waiting can lower your resistance. They can make what you once rejected seem comforting. They can make a quick answer feel safer than a wise one. There are moments when you do not actually want the person, the offer, or the path in front of you. You want relief from the feeling you are carrying. You want the silence to end. You want the pressure to lift. My beloved child, relief is a real need, but when relief becomes the only goal, you may accept something that soothes the moment and burdens the future. Guard yourself when you are lonely. Loneliness can make attention feel like love and availability, feel like commitment. Someone may notice your ache and offer closeness before trust has formed. They may move quickly and make you feel chosen, but being chosen for a moment is not the same as being cherished with patience. Let consistency reveal what emotion cannot. Guard yourself when you are exhausted. Fatigue reduces your ability to ask questions, compare details, and notice contradictions. You may agree simply because you are too tired to keep resisting. You may call surrender peace when you are actually depleted. My beloved child, rest before you decide what deserves your future. Remember Elijah beneath the tree after a season of courage and conflict. He felt alone, overwhelmed, and ready to give up. I did not begin by giving him a complicated assignment. I gave him rest, food, and time. Learn from this. Some decisions do not need more pressure. They need a rested mind and a strengthened body. Guard yourself when you are discouraged. Discouragement tells you that nothing better is coming, so you should accept what is available. It convinces you that your standards are unrealistic and your patience has been wasted. It takes one closed door and turns it into a prophecy over your whole life. But my beloved child, one disappointment cannot define every future possibility. Do not let a hard season write permanent conclusions. Guard yourself when you are waiting. Waiting can create a special kind of vulnerability because there is no obvious crisis to fight and no clear answer to celebrate. Other people seem to move forward. You begin to wonder whether action of any kind would be better than stillness. That is when a shortcut can look like direction. Movement can feel like progress, even when it takes you away from what matters. Saul became impatient while waiting for Samuel. Pressure rose, the people scattered, and fear convinced him to take a role that was not his. His action looked practical, but revealed his impatience. My beloved child, waiting exposes what you trust. It shows whether you believe my timing can hold you when circumstances do not. Guard yourself when you feel rejected. Rejection can awaken the urge to prove your worth. You may chase someone who has already shown little respect. You may accept a role beneath your values because you want to demonstrate that another person was wrong about you. But your life is not a courtroom where every critic must be defeated. Guard yourself when you are angry. Anger can make revenge look like justice and impulsive speech look like honesty. It can persuade you to send the message quit without preparation or commit simply to hurt someone. My beloved child, anger can reveal that a boundary was crossed, but it should not be trusted to design your response alone. When emotions are strong, create simple protections. You can let the first emotional wave pass before deciding what deserves your agreement, your energy, or your trust today. Delay major decisions when possible. Tell a trusted person what is happening. Write down the facts before interpreting motives. Separate what was said from what you assumed. Notice whether you are hiding the decision from people who know you well. Secrecy often grows where wisdom has not been welcomed. My beloved child, do not confuse vulnerability with failure. Everyone has seasons when strength feels thin. Even Jesus in the wilderness experienced hunger before temptation spoke. The temptation addressed real needs but offered false methods. This is important. Your need may be legitimate while the proposed answer is not. Wanting comfort does not mean every comfort is healthy. Wanting change does not mean every escape is wise. Build support before the vulnerable season becomes severe. Stay connected to people who tell you the truth with kindness. Keep routines that protect sleep, prayer movement, and honest reflection. Do not wait until desperation rises to decide what your boundaries are. A boundary established in peace is easier to honor under pressure. Preparation is a form of mercy you give your future self. Pay attention to repeated thoughts that appear when you are depleted. You may tell yourself that this is your last chance, that no one else will understand you, that you must act before morning, or that one compromise will not matter. These thoughts shrink your world until the pressured option appears to be the only one. Step back and widen the view. Ask yourself what you would advise someone you love. Would you tell them to trust a promise that has not been supported by action? Would you encourage them to sign what they do not understand? Would you tell them to stay where they are continually diminished? Distance can restore perspective. Compassion for another person may help you recognize what you have normalized for yourself. My beloved child, I am not asking you to become afraid of your own emotions. Feel them, name them, bring them to me. Let loneliness tell you that you need connection but not choose the connection. Let exhaustion tell you that you need rest but not decide your future. Let anger tell you that something matters but not become your strategy. Emotions are messengers. They are not always trustworthy leaders. There will be times when support from a counselor, pastor, doctor, or trusted professional is part of wisdom. Seeking help does not weaken faith. It may be one of the ways I provide clarity and care. You do not have to interpret every struggle alone. Humility allows you to receive assistance before pain becomes isolation. My beloved child, vulnerable seasons pass, but decisions made within them can remain. That is why I am teaching you to protect the space between emotion and action. You are not powerless while waiting for strength to return. You can pause. You can ask for help. You can postpone what does not need an immediate answer. You can choose one faithful step instead of a dramatic escape. As you guard these seasons, you will recognize another danger more clearly. False security often arrives promising immediate relief, easy, certainty, or a quick end to discomfort. It may feel like rescue, but it can become a new chain. Next, I will show you how to reject premature relief without rejecting the genuine help and stability I may place before you. My beloved child, now I will show you how to reject premature relief without rejecting the genuine help and stability I may place before you. You have learned that vulnerable seasons can make quick answers appear trustworthy. When pressure has lasted too long, almost any promise of relief can feel like rescue. But relief that arrives before truth is examined may calm the moment while creating a deeper burden. You have felt the temptation to choose whatever ends the discomfort fastest. You may accept a relationship because silence feels unbearable. You may take an offer because financial pressure has exhausted you. You may return to an old environment because uncertainty feels worse than familiarity. My beloved child, I understand why immediate relief is attractive. Yet, an answer is not good simply because it arrives quickly. False security often speaks with certainty. It says you will never have to struggle again. It promises that one person, one agreement, or one opportunity will solve everything at once. It may ask you to surrender your judgment in exchange for comfort. It may encourage you to stop asking questions because doubt might ruin the moment. But genuine security does not require blindness. It grows beside truth, responsibility, patience, and freedom. Remember how the people of Israel wanted a king because surrounding nations had one. They wanted visible security they could measure and follow. I warned them that the request would carry costs they were not considering, but fear made human certainty seem safer than trust. My beloved child, you may also be tempted to choose what is visible and immediate, simply because waiting with me feels uncertain. Do not let fear define what safety means. There are relationships that offer relief from loneliness, but create dependence. Someone may promise constant closeness yet slowly discourage your friendships, question your boundaries, or make you responsible for their peace. At first, the intensity feels comforting. Later, the same intensity becomes control. Love should not make your world smaller. Healthy connection supports honesty, mutual responsibility, and the freedom to remain whole. There are opportunities that offer relief from financial fear, but hide a larger price. You may be promised easy income, immediate advancement, or guaranteed results. Yet the details remain unclear, the risk is minimized, and urgency prevents careful review. My beloved child, provision does not need deception. Read the agreement. Ask what happens if expectations fail. Seek qualified advice. Do not confuse confidence in a presentation with evidence that the opportunity is sound. There are also spiritual promises that offer relief from uncertainty. Someone may claim to know what will happen when it will happen, and what you must give or do to receive it. They may use my name to make questioning feel disobedient. But I do not sell guidance, and I do not demand that you purchase certainty. Test what you hear. Look at character. Compare teaching with scripture. Truth does not fear honest examination. My beloved child, premature relief often asks you to skip a necessary process. It offers forgiveness without accountability, restoration without changed behavior, promotion without preparation, and peace without truth. But a wound covered too quickly can continue beneath the surface. A conflict ignored for comfort will often return with greater force. Genuine healing may take longer because it reaches the root instead of hiding the symptom. Think of Abraham and Sarah when waiting became painful. They tried to create through human planning what I had promised to provide in my time. Their decision brought lasting conflict into the household. The desire for a child was not wrong. The promise was real, but impatience produced an answer that was not the fulfillment they had been asked to await. My beloved child, a real promise can still be mishandled when fear controls the method. This does not mean you must reject practical help while waiting. I may provide a counselor, a doctor, a friend, a new job, a temporary place to stay, or a wise plan that brings needed stability. Genuine help does not need to be dramatic. It may arrive through ordinary people and responsible steps. Receive support with gratitude. The difference is that healthy help strengthens your ability to stand, while false security makes you afraid to function without it. Ask what the relief is teaching you to depend on. Does it encourage greater honesty, responsibility, and trust in me? Or does it demand increasing secrecy and dependence? Does it help you become more stable? Or does it keep you afraid that everything will collapse if the source is removed? Does it respect your freedom or use your fear to control your choices? These questions reveal whether comfort is becoming a chain. My beloved child, there are times when you must tolerate discomfort long enough for truth to mature. You may need to remain single while your heart heals. You may need to stay in a modest season while learning financial discipline. You may need to rebuild slowly after failure. You may need to sit with an unanswered question rather than accept a convenient explanation. Discomfort is not always danger. Sometimes it is the classroom where endurance and wisdom grow. Do not romanticize suffering. If you are in danger, seek help. If someone is harming or threatening you, move towards safety and tell a trusted person. If your health requires professional care, receive it. I am not asking you to remain in harm to prove faith. I am warning you against calling every quick escape a solution. Safety, healing, and stability should be pursued with wisdom, support, and truth. My beloved child, learn to recognize the difference between refuge and avoidance. Refuge gives you room to breathe so you can face reality with strength. Avoidance helps you escape the feeling while the problem continues untouched. Refuge may be rest, prayer, community treatment, temporary assistance, or a clear boundary. Avoidance may be compulsive spending, unhealthy attachment, denial, or a decision made only to stop feeling afraid. You can ask yourself what the choice will look like after the first relief fades. Will the commitment remain sustainable? Will you still be able to speak honestly? Will your responsibilities be supported or neglected? Will you respect the person you become? Will the path allow correction if new facts appear? A wise decision considers not only how it begins, but what it is likely to require over time. My beloved child, you do not need to solve your entire future tonight. Take the next faithful step. Pay the bill you can address. Make the call you have avoided. Ask for help. Create a simple plan. Rest before deciding. Let small acts of responsibility rebuild the stability that desperation promised to deliver all at once. I often lead through daily bread, not through fantasies of permanent ease. As you reject false security, you will notice that some attachments, habits, and expectations can no longer remain. Certain forms of relief have occupied space that truth must reclaim. Letting them go may feel like loss before it feels like freedom. Next, my beloved child, I will show you how pruning boundaries and separation prepare your life to receive what is healthy without carrying what no longer belongs. My beloved child, now I will show you how pruning boundaries and separation prepare your life to receive what is healthy without carrying what no longer belongs. You have learned to reject quick relief and security that asks you to ignore truth. The next step is making room for what is honest, steady, and able to grow. Pruning can feel like loss because something familiar is being removed. A habit may no longer comfort you. A relationship may no longer fit the person you are becoming. A routine may begin to reveal how much energy it has been taking. My beloved child, do not assume that every empty space means something has gone wrong. Sometimes emptiness is the first evidence that healing has begun. Jesus spoke of branches being pruned so they could bear more fruit. The cutting was care directed toward greater health. In the same way, I may show you what must be reduced, released, or rearranged. I may ask you to stop carrying responsibilities that were never yours. I may ask you to end access that repeatedly damages your peace. I may ask you to leave room where you once filled every silence. My beloved child, boundaries are not walls built from bitterness. They are clear lines that protect truth, responsibility, and respect. A boundary says what you can offer and what you cannot continue. It tells others how access to your life must be handled. It does not control another person. It clarifies what you will do when a pattern becomes unhealthy. You may need to say that you will not continue a conversation filled with insults. You may need to stop lending money where dishonesty has become a pattern. You may need to limit contact with someone who uses guilt to regain influence. You may need to protect time for rest, family prayer, or recovery. My beloved child, these choices are not selfish when they are made with honesty and humility. Some people will resist your boundaries because they benefited from your lack of them. They may accuse you of changing, becoming cold, or forgetting who helped you. Listen carefully, but do not let guilt erase what wisdom has revealed. You can correct unnecessary harshness without abandoning a healthy limit because someone dislikes it. Separation is sometimes necessary when boundaries are repeatedly ignored. This does not mean every disagreement requires distance. Healthy relationships can survive correction, apology, and change. But when manipulation continues, truth is punished, or harm becomes a pattern, stepping back may be the responsible choice. My beloved child, distance can create the space needed for clarity, safety, and honest evaluation. Think of Abraham and Lot. Their households had grown and conflict increased between those caring for their flocks. Abraham did not allow constant strife to destroy both families. He proposed separation and gave Lot room to choose. The distance was not revenge. It was a practical response to a situation that could no longer remain peaceful in its current form. Sometimes love requires a new arrangement. My beloved child, you may grieve even when separation is right. You may miss the person, the routine, the role, or the hope you attach to it. Do not interpret grief as proof that you made the wrong decision. Grief often means something mattered. You can honor what was real without reopening what became unsafe. You can remember good moments without denying harm. Pruning also reaches inside you. I may reveal beliefs that must be released. You may have believed that love means always saying yes. You may have believed that being useful is the same as being valued. You may have believed that peace requires avoiding every difficult conversation. These beliefs may have protected you before, but now they keep you small. Let truth replace them. My beloved child, you are not responsible for preventing every disappointment. Someone may feel hurt when you say no. Someone may misunderstand your silence. Someone may call your boundary rejection. You can communicate with kindness, but you cannot control every interpretation. Your responsibility is to be truthful, respectful, and consistent. Their response belongs to them. Do not use boundaries as punishment. Do not withdraw affection to force obedience. Do not create silence to make someone panic. That is, control wearing the language of self-protection. A healthy boundary is stated clearly and carried out calmly. It simply protects what must be protected. My beloved child, give people the opportunity to respond to truth. Some will surprise you with humility. They may listen, apologize, and change. Others may offer words without different behavior. Repentance is more than regret. It produces a new direction. Forgiveness can be offered freely, but trust may need to be rebuilt through time and consistency. You may also need boundaries with yourself. Limit the time you spend replaying conversations. Stop checking for messages that keep your emotions trapped. Refuse the urge to explain yourself again after you have spoken clearly. Do not return to an unhealthy place simply because today feels lonely. Self-boundaries protect you from decisions made by temporary emotion. My beloved child, separation can include changing your environment. A place may constantly pull you toward habits you are trying to leave. A group may celebrate what weakens your convictions. A schedule may keep you too exhausted to think clearly. You do not need to condemn everyone in that environment to admit that it is no longer helping you grow. This season may feel quieter as old access closes. Do not rush to fill every space. Silence can reveal how much noise you were carrying. Rest can show you how tired you had become. A smaller circle can teach you the difference between attention and support. Let the new space remain open long enough for your heart to settle. My beloved child, I am not reducing your life to make it empty. I am removing confusion so you can recognize what brings peace. I am teaching you that fewer commitments can create deeper faithfulness. I am showing you that not every connection deserves equal access. I am helping you protect the energy required for the work, relationships, and responsibilities that truly belong to you. There will be moments when you wonder whether you are losing too much. Look again. Are you losing love or losing the need to earn it through exhaustion? Are you losing opportunity or losing a role that depended on your silence? Are you losing community or leaving an environment where you were never free to be honest? The answer may not be simple, but honest questions will guide you. My beloved child, pruning is not an invitation to isolation. Keep wise people near. Remain connected to healthy community. Receive correction from those who respect your dignity. Ask for help when separation brings grief or practical difficulty. Healing grows best where truth and compassion are both present. As boundaries become clearer, you will begin to notice how subtle pressure can enter through flattery, convenience, and apparently harmless invitations. What once looked innocent may reveal a pattern beneath the surface. Next, my beloved child, I will show you how to recognize the enemy's subtle approach without becoming suspicious of everyone around you. My beloved child, now I will show you how to recognize the enemy's subtle approach without becoming suspicious of everyone around you. As your boundaries become clearer, pressure may arrive through praise, convenience, urgency, or an invitation that seems harmless. The danger often lies in what the influence slowly asks you to surrender. The enemy does not always begin with a large compromise. Sometimes the first request is small. Ignore one concern, explain away one inconsistency, keep one secret, accept one demand to avoid disappointing someone. What begins as a small exception can become a pattern if you never examine where it leads. Subtle pressure often feels flattering. Someone may say, "Only you can help them. No one understands them as you do," or "Your loyalty proves your goodness." These words sound appreciative, yet they may place responsibility on you that does not belong to you. Healthy appreciation honors your freedom. Manipulation praises you while making refusal feel cruel. The enemy may also use convenience. A path appears easier than the patient work before you. It promises faster progress and immediate results, yet it may require you to hide details, avoid accountability, or depend on untested people. My beloved child, convenience is not automatically wrong, but ease alone is not proof of alignment. Think of the serpent in the garden. The approach did not begin with open rebellion. It began with a question that distorted what I had said. The words sounded reasonable enough to create doubt. Then desire interpreted the boundary as deprivation. Subtle deception often works this way. It changes meaning just enough to make disobedience look like freedom. Pay attention when someone reframes your values as weakness. They may call patience fear, boundaries, selfishness, humility, insecurity, or caution negativity. They may say you are missing your moment because you will not move at their speed. My beloved child, do not let another person's language redefine the wisdom I have grown in you. Confidence does not make a label true. Subtle pressure often increases gradually. At first, the person respects your time. Later, every delay becomes an offense. At first, the opportunity allows questions. Later, questions are treated as disloyalty. At first, the relationship supports your other connections. Later, you are encouraged to withdraw from anyone who might challenge it. Notice the direction, not only the beginning. My beloved child, listen for false urgency. You may be told the decision must be made immediately, another person is ready to take your place, or hesitation proves weak faith. Some situations have real deadlines, but honest urgency still provides clear information. Manipulated urgency removes time because time would reveal too much. Watch how secrecy is introduced. You may be told that others would not understand the plan must remain private, or sharing details would ruin the opportunity. There are legitimate reasons for confidentiality, but secrecy becomes dangerous when it prevents wise counsel and protects dishonesty. Truth may be private for a season, but it does not need darkness. Remember how Delilah pressed Samson day after day until he grew tired of resisting. The pressure was persistent, personal, and wrapped in affection. My beloved child, repeated pressure can wear down strong people. Strength is not proved by remaining where your judgment is continually attacked. Sometimes wisdom means creating distance before exhaustion decides for you. The enemy may work through your desire to avoid conflict. You may recognize something is wrong but remain silent because you want peace. Yet silence does not always create peace. Sometimes it protects a pattern that should be addressed. Speak clearly and calmly. Ask the direct question. State what you observed. A healthy person may not respond perfectly, but they can engage with truth. A manipulative person often attacks the questioner instead of answering. My beloved child, notice how you feel after repeated contact. Do you feel clearer, stronger, and free to be honest, or increasingly confused, guilty, and dependent on approval? Feelings are not final evidence, but repeated emotional effects matter. Place them beside behavior facts, counsel, and time. Discernment grows when several forms of truth point in the same direction. Do not assume that every difficult person has been sent by the enemy. People can be immature, wounded, careless, or simply different from you. Avoid turning ordinary conflict into a dramatic spiritual battle. Your purpose is not to accuse. Your purpose is to respond wisely. You can recognize an unhealthy influence without claiming to know every hidden motive. My beloved child, the enemy also uses distraction that looks productive. You may become busy with tasks that receive praise but pull you away from your central responsibilities. You may spend your energy solving other people's emergencies while neglecting the work I gave you. Not every good activity is your assignment. A full schedule can still be an empty direction. Ask what the invitation is taking you away from. Does it reduce time for family prayer, health, or commitments you already made? Does it make you feel important while leaving essential work unfinished? Does it require constant emotional recovery? The cost of distraction is often paid quietly. You notice it only after your attention has been divided for too long. My beloved child, learn to test what appears good. James wrote that wisdom from above is pure, peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy, and sincere. Use that picture. Does the influence welcome reason or punish questions? Does it produce humility or feed pride? Does it encourage mercy without abandoning truth? Fruit reveals the nature of the root. There are times when the subtle approach will come through your own thoughts. You may tell yourself that one compromise will not matter, that you deserve relief, or that you can correct the consequences later. Pause when your reasoning becomes unusually eager to excuse what your values clearly oppose. Self-deception often sounds like permission we are desperate to receive. My beloved child, you do not defeat subtle pressure by becoming tense and watchful every hour. You do not need to predict every danger. You need habits that keep your heart clear when pressure tries to cloud it or rush it. You overcome it by staying grounded. Keep your routines. Tell the truth. Rest. Pray. Stay connected to wise people. Review major decisions when calm. Let time reveal consistency. Darkness gains influence through isolation and haste. Clarity grows through community patience and light. When you sense something is off, you do not need to make a dramatic announcement. You can step back quietly. You can ask for more time. You can reduce access while you observe. You can decline without explaining every detail. You can protect your peace without turning the other person into an enemy. Calm boundaries often expose pressure more clearly than angry confrontation. My beloved child, as you learn to recognize subtle influence, you may face a difficult moment. People around you may not see what you see. They may encourage the very choice that unsettles you. They may misunderstand your pause or criticize your boundary. That is when discernment must become courage. Next, I will show you how to trust my whisper above human approval while remaining humble, honest, and open to wise correction. My beloved child, now I will show you how to trust my whisper above human approval while remaining humble, honest, and open to wise correction. You have learned that subtle pressure does not always arrive through obvious danger. Sometimes it comes through people you love, respect, or fear disappointing. Their opinions may be sincere, but they are not always right for your path. There will be moments when others celebrate an opportunity that leaves you unsettled. They may see success, connection, or advancement. They may tell you hesitation is foolish, and you should be grateful. They may not understand why your spirit remains cautious. My beloved child, listen carefully, but remember that no one else carries your responsibility before me. Human approval feels powerful because it touches your need to belong. You want to be understood. You want support from people around you. You want to avoid disappointing those whose respect matters. But when approval becomes your compass, you begin making decisions that preserve an image while neglecting truth. Saul knew what I had asked, yet he feared the people and listened to their voice. He kept what he had been told to release, then covered disobedience with religious language. My beloved child, this is the danger of approval. It can make you call compromise wisdom and fear diplomacy. It can make you protect your reputation while integrity weakens. You may face this pressure in family relationships. Someone may expect you to continue a role that exhausts you because you have always carried it. They may call your boundary disrespectful or remind you of everything they have done for you. Honor matters, but honor does not require surrendering truth. You can love your family without repeating every family pattern. You may face it in work. A leader may praise your loyalty while asking you to hide a mistake, accept unfair treatment, or sacrifice responsibilities that matter. Co-workers may say, "Everyone does it," and speaking up will damage your future. My beloved child, do not trade integrity for temporary approval. A promotion that depends on dishonesty is not true elevation. You may face it in relationships. Friends may be impressed by someone who gives you attention, status, or excitement. They may see charm while missing the pressure you experience privately. Do not accuse without evidence, but do not dismiss repeated behavior. People who love you can offer perspective, yet they do not live inside the consequences of your agreement. My beloved child, my whisper will not always feel dramatic. It may come as scripture that challenges your excuse. It may come through a quiet conviction that remains after emotion settles. It may come through wise words from someone who has nothing to gain. It may come through facts you were tempted to ignore. My guidance often becomes clearer when prayer, truth, character, and responsible counsel agree. Do not use the phrase "God told me" as a shield against questions. If you believe I am leading you, remain willing to test what you hear. Invite wise counsel. Examine scripture in context. Look at the fruit. Ask whether your decision reflects love, honesty, patience, and self-control. My voice does not become weaker because it is examined carefully. Remember the young prophet who received a clear instruction but later followed another person's claim that an angel had spoken differently. He abandoned the word he had received because someone with spiritual authority sounded convincing. My beloved child, titles, confidence, and religious language do not remove the need for discernment. Respect people, but do not outsource your obedience. There will be times when wise correction reveals that what you called my whisper was actually fear, pride, or wounded desire. Do not be ashamed to change direction. A teachable heart can admit it misunderstood. You do not honor me by defending an error because you announced it confidently. Truth matters more than saving face. Learn the difference between disagreement and opposition. Someone can disagree and still care about your future. Not every challenge is an attack. Sometimes I use loving correction to expose a blind spot. Ask whether the person has shown wisdom, honesty, and respect. Ask whether they offer reasons or merely pressure. Ask whether their counsel draws you toward responsibility or dependence. Approval can become especially controlling when you are trying to prove that you have changed. You may choose a visible opportunity because you want others to see your progress. You may remain in a relationship because leaving feels embarrassing. You may spend money to appear successful. You may hide exhaustion because people admire your strength. My beloved child, freedom begins when you no longer need your life to perform for an audience. Jesus refused to build his mission around public demand. Crowds wanted signs, leaders demanded explanations, and even those close to him misunderstood his path. Yet he returned to prayer and moved according to the Father's will. He loved people without allowing their expectations to become his master. Sometimes obedience will make you look slow. Sometimes integrity will cost an opportunity. Sometimes a boundary will disappoint someone. Sometimes walking away will make people question your judgment. My beloved child, being understood by everyone is not a condition for living truthfully. You can explain with respect, but you do not need endless permission to obey what has become clear. When approval loses its control, your decisions become quieter. You stop announcing every step to gather reassurance. You stop arguing with people who have chosen not to understand. You listen, evaluate, decide, and accept responsibility. This does not make you isolated. It makes relationships more honest because you are no longer using them to avoid your own responsibility. Stay connected to wise community. Let mature people ask difficult questions. Keep friends who care more about your character than your image. Receive correction without surrendering your conscience. My beloved child, healthy counsel helps you see clearly. Control demands that you stop seeing for yourself. Before a decision, ask whose approval you are afraid to lose. Ask whether that fear is changing what you know, to be honest. Ask whether you would make the same choice if no one applauded. Ask whether the path remains right when praise disappears. These questions reveal whether you are following conviction or performing for acceptance. My beloved child, my whisper will never ask you to become arrogant, secretive, cruel, or unaccountable. It will lead you toward truth, courage, humility, and responsible love. Even when the path is difficult, you will not need to destroy others to follow it. You can speak firmly without contempt. You can step away without revenge. You can obey without making yourself superior. As you learn to trust my guidance above human approval, you will notice old patterns losing their hold. Roles you once accepted to feel loved will no longer fit. Compromises you once made to avoid rejection will become easier to recognize. Next, my beloved child, I will help you outgrow the patterns that once trapped you so your future is not controlled by the version of you that lived for permission. My beloved child, now I will gently help you outgrow the patterns that once trapped you so your future is not controlled by the version of you that lived for permission. You have learned to listen beyond human approval. Now you must recognize the habits that approval once created inside you. A pattern survives when repetition makes it feel automatic. Perhaps you learned to over-explain because simple truth was not respected. Perhaps you learned to apologize for needs that were reasonable. Perhaps you believed love had to be earned through usefulness, patience, silence, or sacrifice. My beloved child, these habits helped you survive, but they cannot build a healthy future. You may have become the rescuer. You noticed their pain before your own. You carried responsibilities they avoided. You stayed available because being needed felt secure. Yet being needed is not the same as being loved. A relationship built on exhaustion is not mutual care. You may help without carrying another adult's life. You may have learned to chase after distance. When someone withdrew, you tried harder. When communication changed, you worked harder. You treated withdrawal as a test of worth. My beloved child, healthy love never asks you to compete with silence. If someone uses distance to control you, your task is not to become more convincing. Your task is to see the pattern clearly. You may also have learned to ignore small warning signs because the good moments felt so powerful. One kind conversation erased weeks of confusion. One apology without change renewed your hope. One promise persuaded you to forget repeated behavior. This is how patterns continue. They survive on exceptions while reality is built from repetition. Look at the whole direction, not only one comforting moment. Remember Peter after denying Jesus. His failure was real, but it did not become his permanent identity. He wept, returned, received restoration, and later stood with courage. My beloved child, your past decisions may explain some of your patterns, but they do not have the authority to define you forever. Repentance is not endless shame. It is a changed direction supported by honest action. Outgrowing a pattern begins with naming it. Say, I become silent when I fear rejection. Say, I spend money when I feel inadequate. Say, I accept disrespect when I feel lonely. Say, I promise too much because I fear disappointing people. Clear language removes fog. You cannot change what you disguise as personality, loyalty, generosity, or bad luck. My beloved child, compassion for yourself is important, but compassion must remain truthful. Do not condemn the person you were when you lacked the wisdom you have now. You made choices with the understanding, strength, and support available to you then. But do not use kindness toward your past as permission to repeat it. Grace lifts you into responsibility. It does not protect a cycle from correction. Patterns often return when life becomes stressful. You may believe you have changed until loneliness, pressure, success, or conflict awakens the old response. Do not call this failure. See it as information. A trigger reveals where practice is still needed. Each time you respond differently, even imperfectly, the old pathway weakens and a healthier one becomes easier to follow. Create a new response before the familiar moment arrives. If you usually answer immediately from guilt, decide that you will wait before committing. If you return to someone when loneliness rises, call a trusted friend instead. If you hide mistakes, practice telling the truth early. If conflict makes you disappear, prepare one calm sentence that keeps communication open without surrendering your boundary. My beloved child, transformation becomes visible through small, repeated choices. It may look like leaving a message unanswered until you are calm. It may look like saying no without writing a long defense. It may look like asking for help before exhaustion becomes resentment. It may look like allowing someone to experience the consequences of choices you did not make. These acts may seem ordinary, but they reshape your life. You must also release the reward that kept the pattern alive. Overgiving may have earned praise. Silence may have prevented conflict. Perfectionism may have brought admiration. Control may have reduced uncertainty. Every unhealthy pattern offers a temporary benefit, or you would not repeat it. Ask what the pattern gives you in the short term and what it costs over time. Wisdom compares both. The Israelites left Egypt, but Egypt did not immediately leave their thinking. Freedom required more than a new location. They had to learn trust, responsibility, and a different way of living. My beloved child, you may have left the person, job, or environment connected to your old cycle, yet still carry its rules inside you. Healing includes replacing those rules with truth. You no longer have to believe that peace means everyone is pleased with you. You no longer have to believe that love means endless access. You no longer have to believe that conflict means abandonment. You no longer have to believe that rest must be earned through collapse. Let these old agreements lose their authority. They were written in pain, but they do not have to govern your future. My beloved child, choose relationships where responsibility is shared. Choose work that does not require dishonesty. Choose communities where correction and compassion can exist together. Choose habits that strengthen your body, mind, and faith. A new life is not built only by rejecting what harmed you. It is built by practicing what is healthy until health becomes familiar. Some people may prefer your old pattern because it made life easier for them. They may test your new boundary, remind you of your former role, or accuse you of changing. They are right about one thing: you are changing. But change does not mean you have stopped loving. It means love is no longer separated from truth. Stay calm and consistent. You do not need anger to prove growth. There may be setbacks. You may say yes when you meant no. You may return to an old conversation or hide what you should have spoken. My beloved child, correct quickly. Apologize where needed. Re-establish the boundary. Learn what weakened you. One old response does not erase your progress unless you use it as a reason to surrender. Growth is not a straight line, but it must keep moving toward truth. My beloved child, look at how far you have already come. You notice pressure sooner. You question promises more carefully. You understand that your value is not measured by how much discomfort you can absorb. The old pattern may still speak, but it no longer speaks alone. Truth is becoming louder. Wisdom is becoming familiar. Your future is gaining a new foundation. As these patterns lose their power, another test will appear. Something may be almost right, almost honest, almost peaceful, and almost aligned. The old version of you might have accepted it because it was better than what came before, but you are learning not to settle for almost. Next, my beloved child, I will show you how to refuse what is nearly right when it still asks you to abandon what is fully true. My beloved child, now I will show you how to refuse what is nearly right when it still asks you to abandon what is fully true. Because of that growth, the next test may not look obviously wrong. It may look better than what hurt you before. Yet almost right can still lead you away from the life I am forming. Almost right is difficult to recognize because it contains enough good to quiet your questions. The person may be respectful most of the time, but dismissive whenever you speak about what matters. The opportunity may offer progress, but require small compromises you keep explaining away. The plan may bring relief, but slowly remove your freedom. My beloved child, something does not have to be completely harmful to be wrong for your season. You may be tempted to accept it because you remember worse. After rejection, being included can feel like purpose, but healing changes the question. You are no longer asking whether something is better than the past. You are asking whether it is healthy enough for the future. Remember when King Saul was told to obey fully, yet he kept what seemed valuable and destroyed only what appeared worthless. He called partial obedience success. But my beloved child, partial obedience still leaves room for what I asked to be released. Almost faithful is not the same as faithful. Almost honest is not the same as honest. Almost safe is not the same as safe enough to trust with your life. This does not mean you demand perfection from people. No relationship, job, church, or plan will meet every preference. Mature love makes room for weakness, growth, apology, and patience. The question is not whether flaws exist. The question is whether truth is welcomed, responsibility is shared, and change follows honest conversation. Imperfection can grow. A pattern protected from truth usually deepens. My beloved child, pay attention to the word almost in your own explanations. They almost keep their promises. They almost respect your boundary. The agreement is almost clear. The situation is almost peaceful. You are almost able to be yourself. If you repeatedly need that word to defend what is happening, stop and carefully examine the gap. The gap may be small now, but time often enlarges what commitment makes harder to leave. Almost right can also appear through timing. A good person may enter while you are still avoiding necessary healing. A meaningful opportunity may arrive when your responsibilities make acceptance unwise. A move may look exciting before the financial foundation is stable. The thing itself may not be wrong, but receiving it prematurely can turn blessing into pressure. Timing does not make truth less important. It reveals whether you are prepared to carry it responsibly. Think of David, who had opportunities to take the throne by force before the appointed time. The promise was real, but the shortcut would have changed the kind of king he became. He refused to secure through violence what he believed I would establish in my way. My beloved child, you may also face a path that reaches the right destination through the wrong method. Do not let the promise excuse the process. Almost right often asks for one hidden compromise. Keep this detail private. Ignore this concern for now. Accept the disrespect because everything else is good. Tell yourself that you will correct the problem later, but what you tolerate at the entrance often becomes the price of remaining inside. A compromise that feels temporary can become part of the structure. You are allowed to say no to something that others consider good. A job may be respectable but wrong for your family. A relationship may look stable but leave no room for honesty. A community may be kind yet continually pull you away from your convictions. My beloved child, declining what is good for someone else does not make you ungrateful. Assignment is personal, and wisdom considers the whole life you have been given. Do not accept almost right because you fear nothing better will come. Scarcity can make you negotiate against your own values. It tells you this is the last person who will love you, the last opportunity you will receive, or the last chance to move forward. But fear is not qualified to predict your future. You do not know every path I can open, every person you may meet, or every form provision can take. My beloved child, waiting for what is truly aligned does not mean waiting for a fantasy. You are not searching for a flawless life. You are looking for enough truth, consistency, mutual respect, and practical stability to build responsibly. You are looking for a path where problems can be addressed without manipulation, where growth is possible, and where your conscience does not need to be silenced. Ask simple questions. Can I speak honestly here? Can I remain responsible for my existing commitments? Are words supported by repeated action? Does this choice make me more truthful or more secretive? Am I choosing from peace or from fear of being left behind? Would I advise someone I love to accept these conditions? My beloved child, clear questions expose what vague hope keeps protected. Give time permission to reveal what excitement cannot. Do not rush intimacy. Do not sign before understanding. Do not build a future on promises made during emotional intensity. Observe how the person responds to disappointment, correction, delay, and your no. Observe how the opportunity handles details, accountability, and changed circumstances. What is almost right often depends on the beginning remaining unexamined. There may be grief when you release something that was close to what you wanted. You may wonder whether you were too careful. You may miss the possibility more than the reality. Bring that grief to me. You are not weak because almost was attractive. You are becoming wise because you can admit its appeal without surrendering to it. My beloved child, sometimes the hardest no is given to something that contains real beauty. You may appreciate a person and still know the relationship is not healthy. You may value an opportunity and still know the cost is wrong. You may honor a season and still know it has ended. Gratitude and release can exist together. You do not have to make something evil in order to leave it behind. Refusing almost right creates space for clarity, but it also tests your patience. The empty space may feel uncomfortable after you say no. Do not fill it quickly just to escape uncertainty. Let the silence teach you that you can survive without settling. Let your standards become rooted in truth rather than reaction. Let your life become spacious enough for what is honest to enter without competing with what was merely close. My beloved child, you have come too far to choose based only on comparison with the past. I am teaching you to recognize alignment by what it produces over time. Truth, steadiness, responsibility, humility, and peace will not remove every difficulty, but they will give you a foundation that pressure cannot imitate. In the next step, I will show you how to let peace become your spiritual compass without turning it into a fragile feeling that controls every decision. My beloved child, now I will show you how to let peace become your spiritual compass without turning it into a fragile feeling. You have learned to refuse what is almost right. Now you must understand what peace does. Peace is not the absence of challenge. Peace is the steady clarity that remains when truth, wisdom, and responsibility are allowed to speak together. You may have believed that peace means feeling comfortable at all times. Telling the truth may make your voice tremble. Setting a boundary may bring grief. Leaving an unhealthy place may create uncertainty. Beginning something meaningful may awaken fear. My beloved child, discomfort does not always mean you are on the wrong path. Sometimes it means you are walking beyond what once kept you small. Peace does not remove every question. It keeps questions from becoming panic. It does not guarantee that you know every outcome. It allows you to take the next faithful step without pretending to control the whole road. Peace says you can move carefully. Pressure says you must solve everything immediately or lose your future. Remember Jesus sleeping in the boat while the storm frightened the disciples. The waves were real, yet his presence was not ruled by the storm around him. My beloved child, peace is not pretending there are no waves. It is refusing to let the waves become your master. You can acknowledge risk, prepare wisely, and still remain inwardly anchored. This is why peace must walk with truth. A calm feeling built on denial is not peace. If you ignore debt, avoid a necessary conversation, hide a harmful pattern, or refuse to examine facts, quiet may settle over you, but truth will eventually disturb what avoidance created. Genuine peace does not ask you to look away. It gives you strength to look honestly. Peace must also walk with wisdom. You may feel calm because an opportunity excites you, but wisdom asks about the cost. You may feel relieved because someone apologized, but wisdom watches whether behavior changes. You may feel certain because a plan matches your desire, but wisdom invites counsel, patience, and review. My beloved child, peace that refuses wisdom can become wishful thinking. Peace walks with responsibility. If a choice leaves everyone else carrying what you refuse to face, that is not freedom. If your decision depends on secrecy, broken promises, or neglect of people entrusted to your care, do not call the absence of consequences peace. Responsibility asks what your yes will require after the first emotion fades. It asks whether you can carry the commitment honestly. Paul wrote that the peace of God can guard the heart and mind. A guard does not make every decision for you. A guard watches the gates. My beloved child, let peace help you notice what enters your thoughts and emotions. Does the situation produce fear, obsession, confusion, and pressure? Or does it leave room for prayer, thought, correction, and rest? What repeatedly enters your inner life deserves examination. Do not make peace an idol. You are not called to avoid every person who challenges you or every task that feels demanding. Sometimes I use difficult people to expose impatience. Sometimes a hard assignment develops endurance. Sometimes correction disturbs you because pride wants comfort. Ask whether the disturbance leads you toward greater truth and maturity, or toward confusion, fear, and loss of integrity. My beloved child, peace becomes clearer when you slow the decision down. Imagine saying yes. What happens after the first excitement? Imagine saying no. What remains after the first disappointment? Write down both paths. Consider the consequences. Speak with someone wise. Pray without forcing an answer. A spiritual compass becomes useful when you stop spinning it with the hand of desire. There may be moments when peace grows slowly, rather than arriving all at once. You gather facts. You watch character. You make one decision. You adjust when new information appears. My beloved child, guidance can unfold in steps. Do not demand a dramatic sign when daily wisdom is already giving you direction. I often lead through enough light for the next step, not a map of every mile. Peace also protects you from false urgency. When someone says, "This is your only chance," breathe. When fear says, "Everything depends on tonight," pause. When loneliness says, "Any connection is better than none," wait. What is truly yours does not need you to abandon wisdom in order to receive it. Real opportunities may have deadlines, but honest deadlines still allow clear information and responsible choice. My beloved child, learn what peace feels like in your body, but do not rely on sensation alone. You may notice steadier breathing, clearer thoughts, or less compulsion to defend yourself. Yet your body may also react from past pain. This is why peace must be tested beside facts, scripture counsel, and repeated patterns. No single feeling should carry the entire weight of a major decision. There will be times when you feel no clear peace in either direction. In those moments, choose the path that is most honest, responsible, and reversible. Delay permanent commitments when possible. Gather more information. Keep your obligations. Refuse manipulation. Continue ordinary faithfulness. My beloved child, uncertainty does not mean abandonment. Sometimes waiting is the wisest form of movement. Peace can also return after obedience. You may not feel calm before the difficult conversation, but after speaking truth respectfully, your inner conflict begins to settle. You may fear ending a pattern, yet once the boundary is established, strength returns. Do not assume you must feel peaceful before every right action. Sometimes peace waits on the other side of courage. My beloved child, protect your peace without becoming passive. If a problem requires action, act. If a mistake requires apology, apologize. If danger requires distance, seek safety. If a decision requires professional advice, ask for it. Spiritual peace does not replace practical responsibility, it supports it. I can guide you through prayer and also through wise people, careful planning, and honest evidence. As peace becomes your compass, you will notice that your yes grows quieter and your no becomes steadier. You will not need to argue with every person who misunderstands you. You will not chase every opportunity that passes. You will become less controlled by urgency, flattery, and fear. This is not because you know everything. It is because you are learning what deserves authority within you. My beloved child, let peace guide, but let truth confirm. Let wisdom question, but let courage act. Let patience protect, but do not let fear disguise itself as delay. Keep these voices together. When they agree, move with humility. When they conflict, remain still long enough to understand why. You are becoming a person who can carry clarity without pride and uncertainty without panic. And as you learn to move this way, another responsibility will become clear. Wrong commitments do more than disturb peace. They consume the time, attention, strength, and emotional capacity meant for what is real. Next, my beloved child, I will show you how to preserve your capacity so counterfeit demands do not exhaust the resources needed for the life I am truly asking you to build. My beloved child, now I will show you how to preserve your capacity so counterfeit demands do not exhaust the strength needed for what I am asking you to build. You have learned to let peace guide your decisions. Understand that every yes carries a cost. Every commitment uses time, attention, energy, and emotional space. Given carelessly, even good intentions can leave you too depleted to recognize what is truly yours. You have limits, and they are not failure. I created you with a body that needs rest, a mind that needs quiet, and a heart that cannot carry every burden at once. My beloved child, maturity begins when you stop measuring faithfulness through exhaustion. You are not more loving because you never stop. Your value does not depend on constant availability. Capacity must be stewarded, not spent proving your worth. Counterfeit demands often sound important. Someone claims they need you immediately. An opportunity promises visibility if you abandon your schedule. A crisis makes other responsibilities seem less urgent. You may feel guilty for stepping back, yet not every urgent voice carries your assignment. Some needs are real but belong to someone else. Compassion can listen without accepting full responsibility. Remember when Moses tried to judge every matter for the people alone. All day he carried questions that could have been shared. Jethro saw this would wear him out and weaken the people. Wise delegation did not reduce Moses' calling. It protected it. My beloved child, asking for help and sharing responsibility do not mean you care less. They show you understand what one person can carry. Relationships requiring constant emotional recovery can drain capacity. After every conversation, you replay what was said. You wonder whether you are unfair. You prepare explanations for dishonest questions. You spend hours calming confusion created by another person's inconsistency. My beloved child, notice the cost. A relationship needs no obvious cruelty to consume too much space. Repeated confusion can become exhaustion. You may lose capacity through work that expands without boundaries. One favor becomes a permanent expectation. Your competence attracts tasks others avoid. Praise arrives, but support does not. You call the season temporary, yet health, family, prayer, and creativity receive what remains. Responsibility is honorable, but endless availability is not sustainable. Ask what must be done, what can be shared, and what should be declined. You may also lose capacity by carrying the future in your thoughts. You rehearse conversations, predict disasters, and solve problems that have not happened. My beloved child, preparation is wise, but control is not readiness. Jesus taught his listeners not to borrow tomorrow's trouble. Today has work enough. Return to what is actually before you. Complete the faithful task before you. Leave imagined emergencies where they belong. Capacity is preserved through rhythm. Work and rest, speaking and silence, giving and receiving, community and solitude. My beloved child, even the land in Scripture received rest. Fruitfulness was never meant to come from endless extraction. If you continually take from body, mind, and spirit without restoration, you will call survival normal. I want greater honesty for you. This may require changing your schedule. Protect sleep before exhaustion begins making decisions. Leave margin between commitments. Stop filling every quiet hour with messages, noise, and demands. Create space to think, pray, and recover. Margin may feel unproductive at first, but it protects your ability to respond wisely when real responsibility appears. My beloved child, capacity is also protected by finishing what matters. Uncompleted tasks occupy attention even when untouched. Write down what needs action. Decide what must be completed, delegated, or released. Do not carry vague obligations in your mind for months. Clarity reduces hidden pressure. A simple plan restores strength that confusion consumed. You may need to release commitments that once made sense. A role can be good and still end. A project can matter yet require another owner. A relationship can deserve kindness without unlimited access. My beloved child, endings do not mean failure. Sometimes completion means recognizing your season of carrying something has finished. Honor the work, communicate clearly, and let go without unnecessary guilt. Be careful of praise that rewards depletion. People may call you strong because you never ask for help. They may admire sacrifice that benefits them. Strength includes knowing when your pattern damages what you must protect. A lamp cannot keep giving light if no oil remains. You do not preserve your calling by burning yourself down. My beloved child, receive help without shame. Let someone bring a meal, carry a task, listen to your fear, or offer professional guidance. You are part of a body. Paul wrote that different members carry different functions. Interdependence is not weakness. Healthy community allows giving and receiving both ways. If you only give, pride may hide beneath exhaustion. Preserving capacity also means refusing distractions that flatter you. An invitation may feel important while stealing attention from quiet responsibilities. A new project may excite you because work feels ordinary. A relationship may offer intensity while your family needs presence. My beloved child, do not abandon what is real for what is stimulating. Purpose is often protected by ordinary faithfulness. Ask what receives your best energy and what receives only what remains. Does your deepest responsibility receive tired attention, while distractions receive immediate response? Do strangers receive patience, while those closest to you receive irritation? Does your phone receive your first focus every morning? These questions are not meant to shame. They reveal where life needs reordering. My beloved child, capacity is not preserved so you can become comfortable and avoid service. It is preserved so you can serve with clarity, endurance, and love. Rest prepares honest giving. Boundaries allow your yes to remain sincere. Focus deepens your work. You are not abandoning purpose. You are protecting the strength required to fulfill it. There will be days when unexpected needs disrupt your rhythm. Love sometimes stays longer and changes the plan. Do not become rigid. The goal is responsible flexibility, not control. When a true emergency comes, you can respond fully because false urgency has not consumed you. Margin makes generosity sustainable. This is why protecting capacity is not withdrawal from love. It is learning to give from a clear heart instead of resentment, panic, or exhaustion. So what you offer remains honest and can endure faithfully over time. My beloved child, look at what you have been carrying and ask whether it still belongs in your hands. Ask what drains you without producing truth, growth, or service. Ask what you keep doing from fear of disappointing someone. Ask what could be shared, simplified, postponed, or released. Then choose one practical change. Protect 1 hour. End one unnecessary commitment. Ask one person for help. Finish one lingering task. As you preserve your capacity, you will begin to recognize the person you are becoming. You are no longer available to every demand, controlled by every urgency, or defined by how much you can endure. You are becoming steady, focused, and awake. Next, my beloved child, I will help you receive the identity of this awakened version of you, so you can see that transformation begins within before becoming visible around you. My beloved child, now I will help you receive the identity of the awakened person you are becoming. Transformation begins within before it becomes visible around you. You have learned to protect your capacity, guard your peace, question pressure, and release what no longer belongs. These quiet changes show that an older way of living is losing its authority. You are not the same person who entered every open door because it felt exciting. You are not the same person who mistook attention for love, urgency for purpose, or exhaustion for faithfulness. My beloved child, the old patterns may still call your name, but they no longer speak with the same power. Something in you has awakened. You notice sooner, ask better questions, and recover faster when confusion returns. The awakened you does not need to become suspicious or hard. Awakening is not coldness, it is clarity joined with compassion. You can care without being controlled. You can forgive without reopening every door. You can listen without surrendering your judgment. You can remain kind while refusing what damages truth, dignity, or peace. My beloved child, the old version of you often waited for permission. You looked to other people to confirm your worth, approve your boundary, or tell you that your concern was reasonable. The awakened you listens to counsel, but no longer hands away responsibility. You bring the matter to me, examine scripture, character, facts, and consequences, then choose humbly and accept the work required. Think of Gideon. He first saw himself through weakness, limitation, and the opinion of his circumstances. Yet I addressed him according to the courage I was calling forward. His identity changed before his actions could change. My beloved child, I am not asking you to pretend you never feel afraid. I am teaching you that fear is no longer qualified to name you. You may still remember the times you ignored warning signs. You may carry regret over people you trusted, opportunities you forced, or seasons you prolonged. Do not build your identity from shame. Shame keeps staring backward and says failure is your true name. Wisdom looks backward, learns honestly, and turns toward a different path. The awakened you faces the past without letting it become your permanent address. My beloved child, notice what no longer impresses you. Flattery that once opened your trust may now make you pause. Promises without evidence may sound empty. Intensity without consistency may no longer feel romantic or exciting. Opportunities that require secrecy may lose their shine. This is not cynicism. It is discernment becoming part of your character. Notice what no longer terrifies you. Silence may still feel uncomfortable, but you do not rush to fill it with the wrong person. Delay may disappoint you, but you do not immediately lower your standards. Another person's disapproval may hurt, but it no longer decides your direction. A closed door may bring grief, but you remember that endings can also carry mercy. The awakened you is not perfect. You will still have moments when old reactions return. You may over-explain, answer too quickly, ignore your need for rest, or seek reassurance from the wrong place. My beloved child, awakening is not proven by never struggling again. It is proven by recognizing the pattern, sooner returning to truth faster, and refusing to make one setback your identity. My beloved child, receive the identity of someone who can pause without panic. You do not need an immediate answer to feel safe. You can wait while information becomes clear. You can let another person be disappointed without rushing to rescue their emotions. You can allow an opportunity to pass if receiving it would require you to betray your values. Receive the identity of someone who can say no without hatred. Your no does not need to humiliate anyone. It can be calm, clear, and complete. You do not need a dramatic accusation to justify distance. You can recognize that something is not assigned to you and step away with dignity. A peaceful no can protect more than an angry explanation. Receive the identity of someone whose yes has weight. Because you no longer agree from guilt, your commitment becomes honest. When you say yes, you can show up with presence, preparation, and responsibility. Boundaries do not make you less generous. They make your generosity more trustworthy because it is no longer mixed with resentment or fear. My beloved child, receive the identity of someone who can be taught. Awakening does not make you superior. The moment you believe discernment means you cannot be corrected, pride has entered through another door. Remain humble enough to reconsider. Let wise people challenge you. Admit when facts change. Apologize when you cause harm. Strength and teachability belong together. Receive the identity of someone who does not need chaos to feel alive. You can recognize steadiness as a gift. You can allow healthy love to grow slowly. You can value ordinary faithfulness over dramatic promises. You can build a life from repeated truth rather than emotional extremes. Peace may feel quieter than your past, but quiet does not mean empty. My beloved child, the awakened you understands that identity is practiced. You become steady by choosing steadiness. You become truthful by telling the truth when hiding would be easier. You become wise by pausing when impulse demands movement. You become free by refusing roles built around fear. Each faithful decision writes a new pattern into your life. Do not wait for everyone around you to recognize the change. Some people will continue speaking to the version of you they remember. They may expect the same access, the same silence, or the same willingness to carry what belongs to them. Let your consistency teach what explanation cannot. You do not need to argue that you have changed. Live differently long enough for the pattern to become clear. My beloved child, protect this awakening through simple practices. Keep time for prayer and honest reflection. Stay near people who respect truth. Rest before depletion weakens your judgment. Review your commitments. Notice where peace is being drained. Return quickly when you recognize an old response. A new identity becomes stable through repeated care. You are becoming someone who can walk into opportunity without being dazzled, enter relationship without losing yourself, and face uncertainty without surrendering to panic. You can carry influence without depending on praise. You can receive provision without making money your master. You can love deeply without confusing love with unlimited access. My beloved child, the transformation within you is already part of the answer you were seeking. You thought the turning point would begin when circumstances changed, but the turning point began when your response changed. You became slower to assume, quicker to examine, more willing to wait, and more courageous about truth. This is elevation before anyone else can see it. Now the journey is ready to move toward its final step. You have recognized the appointed moment, examined the counterfeit, faced your vulnerabilities, received boundaries, and learned to protect peace. Next, my beloved child, I will help you walk forward protected and aligned with a steady heart, clear responsibility, and trust in my guidance ahead. My beloved child, now, I will help you walk forward, protected and aligned with a steady heart, clear responsibility, and trust in my guidance ahead. You have traveled through warning, waiting, discernment, boundaries, release, and awakening. Do not rush past what has been formed in you. This journey was never only about avoiding one wrong door. It was about becoming someone who can recognize truth, carry peace, and respond with wisdom when another door appears. You are not leaving this moment empty-handed. You carry new awareness. You know that not every opportunity is an assignment. You know that pressure is not purpose. You know that a closed door can protect you, delay can mature you, and an honest no can be as faithful as a courageous yes. My beloved child, walking protected does not mean nothing difficult will reach you. It means you will not face difficulty without wisdom, support, and my presence. You may still encounter disappointment, yet you are no longer required to react from panic. You can pause, pray, examine, ask for counsel, and take the next responsible step. Walking aligned means your choices agree with what you value. If you value truth, stop protecting lies for comfort. If you value peace, stop giving constant access to confusion. If you value love, stop calling control devotion. If you value purpose, stop spending your strength on every demand that sounds urgent. Remember Joshua standing before the Jordan. The people had traveled through uncertainty, loss, correction, and preparation. The river still stood before them, but they were not the same people who had left Egypt. My beloved child, the obstacle may still be real, yet the person facing it has changed. Do not judge your readiness only by the size of the river. Remember what has been built within you. Take your next step without arrogance. Discernment is not permission to believe you are always right. Remain teachable. Listen to wise correction. Admit when new facts require change. A protected life is not a closed life. It is a life with healthy gates, honest relationships, and enough humility to receive help. My beloved child, take your next step without fear. You do not need to examine every shadow until you become afraid of movement. You have learned enough to proceed carefully. Not every unknown is a trap. Not every difficult conversation means you should leave. Use the wisdom you have gained, then act when truth becomes clear. If a relationship is healthy, let trust grow through time, honesty, and mutual respect. If an opportunity is sound, prepare well and accept responsibility. If a boundary is necessary, state it calmly and follow through. If an apology is yours to make, offer it without excuses. My beloved child, do not return to old patterns because the future feels unfamiliar. Do not call the old room home because the new road is quiet. You may miss what was familiar, even when it was unhealthy. Let grief pass through without giving it authority. Carry only what belongs in the next season. Carry the lesson but not the shame. Carry compassion but not responsibility for every person. Carry gratitude but not attachment to what has ended. Carry wisdom but not suspicion. Carry courage but not the need to prove yourself. Travel lighter because unnecessary weight can make the right road feel impossible. There may be a person, plan, or opportunity you need to place before me again. Do not force a final answer because this message is ending. Some decisions need more time. Write down what you know. Name what remains unclear. Seek counsel. Review the facts. My beloved child, faithful waiting is still movement when it protects you from careless commitment. There may also be one action you know you must take. Make the call. Ask the question. Read the agreement. Tell the truth. Schedule the appointment. End the hidden compromise. Re-establish the boundary. Complete the responsibility you avoided. Do not use prayer to hide from practical obedience. When the next step is clear, walk it with humility. My beloved child, I have not brought you through this journey, so you will remain frozen at the threshold. I have taught you to see clearly, so you can live faithfully. The goal of discernment is not endless analysis. It is wise action. It is freedom to love, serve, build, and move without surrendering yourself to confusion. Now let us pray together. My beloved child, open your hands and breathe slowly. Bring me the decision you cannot control, the person you cannot change, the door you cannot force, and the future you cannot fully see. Let honesty become your prayer. Father, give me calm wisdom and responsible courage. Help me recognize pressure without becoming fearful. Show me where old wounds are speaking and where truth is asking for action. Teach me to welcome good things without becoming naive, and to release wrong things without becoming bitter. Place wise people around me, strengthen my boundaries. Correct me when pride clouds my judgment. Restore the energy I spent on what was never mine to carry. Help me move at the pace of truth. Keep me from shortcuts that require compromise. Give me patience when answers are incomplete and humility when plans must change. Let my words, choices, relationships, and responsibilities become honest. When I am tired, remind me to rest. When I am lonely, guide me toward healthy community. When I am afraid, help me take one faithful step instead of a desperate escape. My beloved child, receive this prayer not as a guarantee that every path will become easy, but as a commitment to walk with awareness. You do not need a life without uncertainty. You need a heart that remains anchored while uncertainty unfolds. You do not need every person to approve. You need courage to live truthfully and humility to remain teachable. As you leave this message, choose one practical action. Do not choose 10 dramatic promises. Choose one honest step you can complete. Tell a trusted person if accountability will help. Transformation grows when revelation becomes practice. If this message helped you recognize something important, share in the comments what you are choosing to approach with wisdom. Your words may encourage someone facing a difficult decision. Share this message with a person who needs calm, not panic. Like the video if it strengthened you, and subscribe so we can continue walking through faith, healing, responsibility, and hope together. My beloved child, go forward without rushing and without returning to what truth has exposed. Walk with peace beside wisdom, courage beside humility, and faith beside responsible action. You are not the person who first entered this journey. You are more awake, more grounded, and more willing to choose truth over pressure. Let that change guide your steps. The road ahead may not reveal everything at once, but you have enough light for the next faithful step. Take it, remain close to me. Keep your heart open, your eyes clear, and your boundaries honest. Walk forward protected not by fear, but by wisdom. Walk forward aligned not by perfection, but by truth. Go in peace, my beloved child, and live what you have learned.